My mother-in-law always complains about my gifts, so I stopped giving her any.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Save
You
your
get
money.
what you get, or you don't get a freaking gift.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm not getting my partner's side of the family anything for Christmas, and his mom is furious, and I'm enjoying the drama. My partner, 24 male, and I, 23 male, have been together for 3 years. For the first 2 years, we went to his family's house for Christmas. Me and his mom didn't hit it off well when we met. I'm not sure what happened, but she immediately didn't like me. By the way, this comes from Phobia account on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we didn't see her much after the first meeting though, so I never really had a chance to make it up to her until Christmas. I didn't know her well, so I found what I thought was a pretty minimalist necklace with green agate. It was just the right shade to be what my partner said was her favorite color. I thought she liked it at first until later on in the year after I met up with his family and saw her niece wearing it. I asked where she got it from, and she told me my partner's mom was just going to throw it away. That's freaking messed up.
Throw it away.
Why would you throw it away?
Not even a re-gift?
Like, not even, well, it seems like she did regift it,
I
but like,
guess.
come on, just keep it in your jewelry box.
Yeah.
Throwing it away is like, it's not saying, oh, I don't like it. It's saying I freaking hate the person who gave it to me.
Yeah, it's personal at that point.
I was a little pissed, but didn't say anything. It cost me $100, which isn't super expensive for some people. This is expensive for me. But as someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, it kind of. My partner asked his mom why she wanted to throw it away, and she said she just wouldn't have worn it. Fine, whatever, maybe I got her style wrong. It was her gift, and she could do what she wanted with it, I guess. She gave me an Iron Maiden shirt that year that was way too small, and an odd choice because if you saw me, your first thought would not be metalhead. I wear overalls and a lot of cottagecore clothing because it's cute. So it's not like she put a ton of effort into my gift and was upset I didn't put in as much. So for the second Christmas, I put an effort to get to know her beforehand. I talked to her sister, my partner's auntie, and found out she grew up in the same hometown as me and she missed it a lot. But because it was a 10-hour drive away, it wasn't somewhere she could visit easily. I brought this up to her next time we met, and she and I talked about the town and started to get along more. In particular, though, she mentioned how much she missed the smell of our town. There was a macadamia farm next to a bourbon distillery that smelled really nice together because of the molasses, and the beach nearby was surrounded by eucalyptus and wattles and always smelled amazing. That sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Oh.
I would never think of a place having a certain smell.
Yeah.
But if it has all that, then yeah. I
Dude,
would miss that.
I will tell you, the sawmill does have a certain smell.
The sawmill. Yeah,
It smells like wood dust.
Also, the backside of a dog shelter has a certain smell.
Aw.
sounds like a bad smell.
I had again what I thought was a great idea. I have a friend who makes candles, so I commissioned 2 custom candles, a macadamia, whiskey, and vanilla candle, and a salt, eucalyptus, and wattle candle.
Wow.
I was so excited for her to open them on Christmas, and when she just said, "Oh, that's neat," and put them aside, what? I'm sorry if I spent like a lot of effort into that, and someone just freaking went, "Oh, okay."
You got a custom made
Come
candle?
on.
That's
Come
crazy.
on. Thankfully for my ego, her sister was way more excited about them and even made her light them while we sat out back. My partner's mom just ended up just handing them off to her after we left. Is she the freaking devil?
Oh
I
my
hate you.
gosh, That's crazy.
You're
not
like-
even trying to hide it.
Yeah, to just like be like, "Oh, you can take them."
Yeah, that's
Come
wild.
on. What is her problem? And the aunt called us to tell us and ask how she could get more. So this year I was planning as a Christmas birthday combined gift to pay for half of a trip away to our hometown with my partner and his dad paying the other half. It was going to be a week-long set on her birthday with hotels, drinks, food, and travel included, all up around $2,000, though at the time we only had paid around $1,000 for the travel and hotel bookings. I saved up all year for this because I really want her to like me, because I love my boyfriend and we're going to be together for a long time. And I feel like that means me and her should at least sort of get along. A week ago, she came over to have lunch with my partner and he told me he had come over to tell me not to buy her any gifts because she didn't want some tacky little trinkets bought from Target. Dude, he has not once bought you tacky little trinkets from Target.
Yeah, this is insane.
He bought you a $100 necklace. He bought you candles that were like literally specifically made for you.
Yeah.
And now he's buying you a freaking $2,000.
This is the perfect person to
Ungrateful.
get gift cards for.
Yeah. So my tacky little holiday was canceled 2 days later, and I've used my half of the refund to buy my partner some Lego that he always wanted but could never afford as just a general gift because he puts up with me and I love him.
No.
It's going to get here in a month, so I've been thinking about giving it to him as a Valentine's Day present. On Sunday, we had an early Christmas because it was the only time my partner's grandmother would be in town. When it came time for gifts, I got everyone something but her, and she looked upset when she realized but didn't say anything. She pulled my partner aside and asked why she didn't get anything, and my partner told her what her gift was going to be and that it was already refunded like she asked. She started crying, sort of. Mostly yelling and crying noises with no tears. She's just going,
That's a really good impression of
Thank
what
you.
that would be like.
and threw the food that was on the table on the floor and drove home alone. She's been calling us for the past 3 days trying to get me to change my mind, and no one but her mom is on her side. I'm a very petty person, and it's been genuinely fun answering her calls lately. We're having a second Christmas lunch for my partner's dad's side of the family this Sunday, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Edit, thank you so much for the support. It actually means a lot. I do just want to quickly defend her to let you know there's no here at all. She's a loud LGBTQ supporter. She's just mean as a person. That's so funny. She's an ally, but she freaking sucks. She's an ally, but she's a witch.
Cancel her anyway.
Yeah.
Don't worry, she's not. She just hates people.
Yeah, it's actually personal.
She's an ally, but she's a there is an update though. Do you have any thoughts about why she's behaving this way that
don't
aren't
know.
related to home?
Because is she doing this like to anyone else?
That's a good question.
Because I know she did say like she
Yeah.
doesn't want any Target doodads or whatever.
Yeah.
But was that about OP or was that just about
yeah,
everyone?
so she's like,
All
I mean,
her
like
gifts.
every year.
Yeah, because if it's this, then it's like, okay, it's a little
Okay.
personal. Sounds like she just doesn't like you and she
Yeah.
wants to get rid of you somehow, and she's just being rude to you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could be the thing where like they had some sort of problem, and then the boyfriend like told the mom about it, and then she hasn't forgiven OP, even though
Yeah,
they worked it out. Maybe it's
Yeah.
something like that. She just really holding a grudge.
something along those lines.
Maybe those are my theories.
I like them.
Thank you.
So it's been a bit about a week since I made my last post and was asked in DMs and in comments to update if anything happened, and stuff has. But it hasn't turned out in my favor. So more background info. My partner's grandfather on his mother's side lives with us and I'm his carer. I shower him, clothe him, feed him, wipe his butt, all the fun stuff. I love the old man and I don't mind it at all. I'm actually awake at 4 a.m. right now because he needed some toilet assistance. I'm just gonna call him Pop for this. Pop is over 80 and for the past few years he's had a falling problem. He's had his blood pressure and sugar checked. He tried and has been taken off tons of meds. He's gotten exercises he does for his leg muscles and he's in decent shape for an old man. So we don't know what's caused it. In the week of my post, he's fallen 5 times. Oh my God. Only once with injuries that bothered him. Thank F though. And that happened a day, I think, after the post. He hit face first into the concrete path outside our house when we were about to go on his walk. Superficial facial cuts, an effed up knee, and some intense bruising around his side and leg. Ooh. He twisted weird, I think, when he fell. Basically, he's in pain constantly right now, and the pain meds don't last long enough for him to do a lot of things. I can't put into words how effing useless I feel over him getting hurt so much suddenly, and how little I can do to ease it. He did make it to Christmas lunch on Sunday, but before that he was stuck in hospital literally up until that day, which meant a lot of the preparation for Christmas fell onto me, which of course meant I needed supervision from my partner's mom. I don't think I did a single thing right in her eyes. The one thing I'll relent on is I'm crap at wrapping presents. They were seriously awful, but my partner's mom, who I'll just call mother-in-law, was pissed about everything. My chicken was done pretty good, I thought, for someone who hasn't cooked before. Crunchy skin and soft inside. Just needed a few more herbs and spices next time. Mother-in-law wouldn't stop complaining the whole day. I didn't take her advice on how to cook it. She came after I cooked it, so I'm not sure how she thought that one would make sense. And that I needed to leave my partner, the chef, to do it next time. This is a busy time for my partner's work, and he had no spare time and was too tired when he came home. Despite all the bad luck, though, somehow Pop hadn't gotten mother-in-law's gift yet, and he said I should go down to get her something. It didn't matter what, she had to like it anyway. I would have loved to get get her a lump of coal. Yes, like someone suggested
You're literally she literally heard you say that.
She literally heard me say that.
That's crazy.
In the last post, but since it was from Pop, I thought I should at least put minimal effort in, and I knew just the place to get her a little trinket. I ended up getting this small sculpture for her, wrapped it up nice, and on Christmas Day, she loved it.
Would you look at that?
It is a freaking personal vendetta. She just
Wow.
hates you. And this is when you go,
Wow.
it was me all along. And she goes, I knew it. I actually hated it.
Wow.
She kept going on about how it would fit in so nicely in her lounge room with her art set up and how thoughtful it was. Pop ended up telling her I was the one that picked it out, and she asked who made it so she could look at their other work. When I told her I found it at Target,
Stop it. That's perfect.
ooh-wee,
Oh boy.
and told her I knew she would like it because it suited the rest of her home, she was mad. She started yelling about how I knew she wouldn't like it and that I needed to treat her with respect. My partner's uncle just laughed and told her she liked it before, so I must have done well. For the next part, I need to add the last bit of context. I'm white and my partner's family are Indigenous Australian. It's never been an issue before, but suddenly my mother-in-law yelled out question why they were letting the white boy take care of Pop. I can't remember the full sentence, but the implication was that I'm either or neglecting him. Dude.
Oh my god.
Also, I don't know why I knew they were Australian. I knew that earlier, and I'm trying to figure out,
You
did
just
they
knew
say
it.
that?
You just felt it inside of you.
I felt it in my bones.
He
Or they
knew.
just said it.
Just knew.
Not to make this a whole lesson, but she did sort of have a point. Since caring for Pop, I've seen firsthand the negligence that comes from white nurses caring for Aboriginal elderly versus white. It's an actual problem, but her accusing me of neglecting him hurt a lot. I asked if she wanted to take up caring for him then, since she had the space in her home and also didn't work. She huffed and rolled her eyes. I wonder if, it seems like that may be a reason why she doesn't like him.
Because of him
Because
taking
he's
care
white.
of
Well,
Pop,
because
or
he's
because
white? Yeah, possibly, because we don't really know any other reason why. It was quiet for a bit until someone changed the subject, and then we left early so Pop could go lie down at home and get comfortable. Pop ended up calling mother-in-law a cow when we got home and told me to ignore her. Yesterday, however, the organization, his carers, they shower him every other day and clean the house on Wednesday. Someone to look around and asked me to leave for a bit to talk to Pop. When I got back, she was gone, and Pop told me I had been reported to them for elderly abuse. And she had come to check it out. She's literally calling a thing on him.
What?
Come on. Why are you doing this?
That's why. Yeah. It's
like
there's
clearly
nothing-
Pop is fine.
Yeah. Like, is it just something about control or something? Where it's
Yeah.
just like, it's not her pick or whatever, or I don't know.
Weird.
That's super weird. Do we know how long they've been dating?
3 years.
3 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
When I got back, she was gone, and Pop told me I had been reported to them for elderly abuse, and she had come to check it out. Of course, he told her the situation with mother-in-law, but I'm honestly worried they don't believe him and think I'm hurting him. She told Pop she'd be coming back in a few days for another checkup. Mother-in-law is supposed to be coming around today, probably to snoop around the carer checking up on him. I'm honestly too tired after this to keep up any pettiness, though. I recently had to quit the course I was doing from home because I just didn't have enough time to do it, help Pop, do the chores, and take care of myself. And I've been in a slump about it, and then the falls had me feeling useless, and now this. Pop says he's not going to a home and no one else would care for him, so I'm stuck with him, and that he's very grateful to have me, but I really don't know how this is going to play out. I guess it depends on how much my mother-in-law is willing to do to get back at me. A lot. She's willing to, she's trying to get you in trouble with the carers right now,
Yeah.
which is a big deal.
Big deal. Yeah. Because I'm sure some sort of legal action.
Could be taken.
Yeah. So that's a big thing to blame someone for. Or
Yeah.
Frame them for.
I hope in the end is that this report blows over quickly with other family chiming in to point out it's false, and that eventually everything chills the F out. Until then, though, I think my mother-in-law unfortunately has won the pettiness war. Edit, I want to defend my partner here. He's grown up with this woman and does usually call her out on her crap for anything major, like he will in an hour for what she's doing. These petty little things from before, though, are things I know he wouldn't feel was worth talking to his mom about because it wouldn't do anything. She's stubborn and doesn't see her own faults. We are both grown men who both have different ways of handling things, and his is to just let it blow over because it's easier, and mine is to push back. I wouldn't start some petty BS if I couldn't handle myself. I don't expect him to waste his time trying to defend me from his mom's usual low-stake pettiness when I knowingly act like the stereotypical sassy a-hole for fun. And there is a second update.
Oh, wow. It's not over.
Man, oh man.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, your partner needs to push back against his mom because this behavior is ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
she's trying to get you in trouble legally.
Yep.
So it's not just like she's complaining about gifts, which was already a problem, honestly, that he
right.
should have been stepping up and saying, hey,
Right.
don't do that. But now, like, the legal trouble?
Yeah, that's a big deal. And it is hard when it's like if his way of dealing with things is like by kind of taking a step back
Yeah.
and is just kind of non-confrontational or something. But it's like in this situation, if your mom doesn't like your partner, then like you can't just let it happen because it's your partner. Like what if
Yeah.
you guys get married and what, are you just gonna hate him forever? Like, you know, it's like you kind of have to step up.
Yeah,
to
step
say
up.
something. You could say it in your own way. You could say it in a non-confrontational way.
But
you
you
gotta
gotta
say
say
something. Exactly.
But there is an update. January 15th. Update, I'm not getting my partner's side of the family anything for Christmas. And his mom is furious. So Pop is doing good now. His bruises finally all healed up and he's a lot
Good.
more independent now since the pain's worn off. We'd neglected looking at the muscles on his calves and ankles because of true stereotypes that a lot of Aboriginal Australians have tiny calves and ankles. And we, including his GP, thought they were small solely because of that. Nope. Muscle degeneration. But we're working on it and he's already able to stand for 5 whole minutes without assistance,
Wow.
which is a huge amount of time. The investigation turned up nothing. The worker who came over came again to tell us she had made a note that the mother was against me being a carer and had made a false accusation, so it sounds like it'll be a lot harder for her to make a mess of things so easily now. Good.
Good.
She hasn't admitted to doing it. The worker didn't specify it was her either, but I mean, who else would do it? Yeah, it's her. It's for sure. The timing of the last post getting attention is amazing because I have fantastic news for a lot of you. My fiance broke up with me a few days ago.
Fantastic news?
What?
Dude.
Oh, probably because a lot of people were like, you need to break up with your partner because he's not standing up for you. Wait,
Oh my
after
gosh.
3 years?
Wow.
I mean, we know who made her break up with her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, baffled why you wouldn't step up for your relationship of the person you love so
3
much.
years.
And you just listen to your mom and it all goes in the trash.
Yeah, relationship
Yeah.
of 3 years.
Yeah.
I had asked for a break because for the past week he'd been snappy and not wanted me near him so much. So I thought it'd be a good way for me to lean on him less and for him to have space. He got upset at the idea, drove off to a mate's, and came back and told me it was a better idea to break up. He said he was sick of having no time to himself because he worked all day, and instead of relaxing when he was home, he had to hang out and talk with me every single day.
Oh,
It gets to
wow.
you sometimes, you know.
Oh my God.
We don't even live together. What are you talking about?
I was just picking.
Me no longer being attracted to him, he did just complain anytime I tried to flirt with him or make a move, so I stopped. Me being financially dependent on him, I currently get $600, 416 USD, per fortnight on my concession because my carer allowance isn't coming in for another 2 weeks. And most of my money came out paying for things we'd both afterpaid, so he was buying me my medication and food for us. We had agreed a week before that this was okay, that he was okay with this because once my carer payments come in, I could pay for way more stuff and the debt would be paid off by then. Me spending my money on useless stuff while we were financially unstable, I bought $100 or 69 US dollars worth of books because I hadn't had any new ones to read in months, which was 4 books. Please also note he just bought a PS5.
Dude, and PS5s aren't cheap.
No.
Not cheap.
Like $500.
Yeah, they're like
dude.
$500.
Wow,
And I really, 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 really want one.
I don't have that kind of money.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Well, if you love me, you would.
Well, we could do
I'll
it.
work on it. I'll work on it.
We can do a duel kind of thing like last
Like what?
like Riley's birthday last time.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
dual
yeah.
thing.
I can ask if anyone wants.
Yeah,
wants
ship in for a
credit.
PS5.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't have time for PS5.
Yeah, you would even.
You don't
yeah.
even like video games
you don't
that
even
much.
play-
You're right, you're
yeah,
right,
You
you're
play
right.
you play Guitar Hero and that's it.
I love Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And that's on the Wii.
That is true.
Me being quitting my course because I'm a lazy F who doesn't want to work, just sleep all day. Remember that I quit my course to take care of his elderly grandfather who is scared to be alone and can't do much himself because of falls. Please again note the fact that he also used to be Pop's carer until he quit because everyone said he didn't work and was lazy and he was sick of people not recognizing the work he put in. All of the quotes are from the breakup messages he sent over text while he hid in his room, edited slightly for easy reading. I'm sorry, he broke up with you over text after 3 years of relationship?
Wow. And he didn't
Diabolical.
He didn't even say it was anything about the mom. He was just
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
need alone time.
Yeah, he was like,
That's
you
it.
never, I have to talk to you.
Oh my god.
Instead of being an adult and being like, hey, like, I just need some alone time. He was like, I have to talk to you.
Ugh. That's
Pop
wild.
and I have talked, and he's told me I'm allowed to stay and that my ex would be kicked out before I would if there ever was an issue. I'm also staying as his carer for the foreseeable future. In fact, in a delightful twist, my ex's mom called when she found out we split to beg me not to give up on being a carer because no one else would do it. You little freaking hypocrite. I have the biggest grin on my face just typing what happened, honestly. And I have the biggest grin anytime you guys listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search a Poke Storytime. It just puts a grin on my face.
Search it, just a few buttons.
Just do it. But there is a little bit left to this story. His mom, his pop doesn't, and that's where I'm at.
But, good riddance, man. It's
Good
less
freaking riddance.
headache for you. That
Yeah, he wasn't standing up for you at all.
yeah. I'm glad you can still have that job.
Yeah.
And care for him. But a downside of that, I guess, is that you still might have to be
around
in contact,
him.
with
Sure.
that family, which would be hard, especially.
Yeah.
But you'll find someone nicer.
You'll find something way better.
Mhm.
It's been a few days since we split, and I've never had many life goals. I usually just follow what I'm told and support the person leading me, which apparently a lot of people caught on to easily from my posts. My only real goal in the last few years was to do my course, get a job, and get a house with my ex. So when he broke up with me a few days ago, I felt stranded very suddenly. I've since had a few necessary cries and post-cry naps, and then my antidepressants kicked in, and I realized that how I've been living isn't at all fulfilling to me. So last night, I applied for an online course I wanted to do that my ex advised me against doing months ago, and I'm so excited. It starts today, but since it's online, the late application probably won't matter. Overall, I think this is a pretty positive note to end things on. Things look like they're probably gonna go up from here, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about what I want to do for myself now that I'm not so focused on my ex. Thanks again to all the wonderful support from you guys. I probably wouldn't be where I am right now so quickly without having read all the supportive comments from the last post. I love you all so much.
Wow.
And there you have it.
There
Hope
you
he's
go.
doing great. I love to hear it.
I love a story that ends on a happy note.
Me too. My wife ruined my love for gift giving because she never liked any of it. So first, a little background. My wife, 40, and I, 43, have been married for 20 years. Wow. We were both young, me 21, her 19, when we started dating, but we had known each other and had been friends and in the same general friend group for years. By the way, this comes from Quick Silverware on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, when we started dating, we moved fast. Dating in January, married in September? As we just didn't feel the need to go through all the get to know you stuff. Young, I know, but we were best friends by that point, and I don't regret this at all. She's still my best friend, and I would pick her again today, given the chance. Okay. Anyway, my whole life, I had loved finding, making / giving gifts I thought would be amazing for a person. Like the time I was 10 and made a walking stick for my dad, an avid hiker, that could be unscrewed in the middle so he could take it with him on all of his road trips. I just love trying to understand a person well enough to get them gifts that they would genuinely love. If you've seen Parks and Rec, think Leslie Knope. I was that passionate and that good.
Wow, so that's really intense. For people who don't know that reference, this person's entire life revolves around giving
gifts.
personalized gifts.
And this was no different with my wife. When we started dating, I worked hard to know the things she loves and create gifts to fit those things, or that would fit her personality and overall vibe. At first, she loved this. She was always excited for the gifts, and they were things she talked about for years. Over time, she stopped caring as much, which made me sad. But we had been together for about 12 years and had good communication in our relationship. So I decided to just ask her what was up.
Nice. Oh my God.
Beautiful. When I talked to her about it, she explained she just wanted more practical things and that she didn't always want gifts to be such a big deal. In part because she wasn't a good gift giver and never knew what to get me in return. I told her that didn't matter, as I had over the years when she had mentioned she didn't know what to get me. I won't lie, I was hurt, but I got on board. I still did more personal gifts for my kids and a couple of friends, but I switched to more practical or traditional gifts for my wife. Diamond necklace one year, Dyson hair blower the next, things I knew she'd still enjoy and use, but that also fit the more practical requests that she had made. She loved these, and I felt good that I was still finding things she enjoyed and appreciated. Jump forward to our 14th anniversary. And after opening another traditional gift, she thanked me genuinely for the gift and mentioned that she appreciated me doing more practical things but that after several years of not getting them, she did miss the personalized gifts.
Oh, really?
And now we've gone back around.
Look who's come crawling back.
Well, with 1 year to plan, I figured I could do something personal that she would love for our 15th wedding anniversary. My wife loves art, and her favorite artist at the time lived not too far from us and did some volunteer work at the soup kitchen I run. She was also getting back into reading fiction and had discovered a new love for fantasy literature. Yes! So over that next year, I worked with a friend of mine that teaches creative writing to put together a fantasized version of our story. That's so cute. I also worked with the artist to create cover art and panels and a local publisher to get a few copies made of what would become a very short graphic novel style retelling of our relationship. That may all sound like a lot, and it was on my end, but in the end, the gift was a simple book, maybe 15 pages or so, about our life. It was simple but beautiful. The artist did such an amazing job. They used references from our lives and from my wife's favorites of their work. The printing and binding was perfect and professional. It was all exactly what I had wanted. But I was still nervous about what she had said a few years ago, so I also bought her a gold bracelet and the new running shoes she had been eyeing. Our anniversary came. We went out to dinner, had a really nice time, and when we got home, I gave her the gifts. She opened the bracelet and the shoes first. She loved them, exactly what she wanted. Then she opened the book. She leafed through, clearly not stopping to read anything.
This is like
She didn't make any comments about the artwork, which was signed on the inside flap by the artist. She didn't really say anything. After about a minute, she set it down, thanked me again for the gifts, and told me she loved them and me, and she went up to our room. She was carrying the shoes and the bracelet, but she left the book on the table. I was crushed. I thought at the very least she had given me permission to do this kind of gift again, but in my heart, I hoped that after what she had said last year, she might actually be excited about this gift.
Well, yeah, she said she missed them. She said she
understand.
wanted it back.
She got the gifts that she wanted. The next morning, I got up and she had already been out for a run to break in her new shoes. When I got downstairs, the book wasn't on the table, but not wanting to make an issue out of this, my emotions were still raw. I didn't say anything about it. Later that day, I noticed that she had put it with the pile of junk mail that accumulates by the door each week. No. I decided I didn't want it to accidentally get thrown out, so I put it on the bookshelf in my office. I kind of hoped she might ask about it or notice it was missing, but she never did. 6 months later, I saw it again on the shelf in my office. She has never asked about it. So I made space for it by some of my journals, and that's where it's still sitting. Since that anniversary, I really just stopped putting so much into gifts altogether. I do put a little more into my kids' gifts still, but not nearly what I once had. No,
not the kids.
I buy a lot more things from the store, and I never do gifts I make anymore. I still get her presents, and apart from this one thing, our relationship is very good. I tell myself I'm over it, and in a lot of ways I am. But I spent almost 40 years of my life doing gifts that way, so around the holidays, I still have all these ideas of what I would give or do for a person. I just don't. No. I don't have the emotional capacity for it. I've lost a lot of holiday spirit over this. I don't care about my birthday at all, and I just buy my kids and my wife the stuff they want for their birthdays.
Oh my, this is like a Lifetime movie plot.
Maybe it's stupid to miss this, but I do. And I do think it's at least partially my wife's fault. Am I an a-hole for thinking that? And there is an update. Okay.
Are you an a-hole for thinking it's your wife's fault?
It's your wife's fault for sure, but you gotta have a convo. Gotta have that little convo with her. Okay, I'm going to talk to her about this again tonight. Woo! There we go. But I want to clarify a couple of things here too. I did tell her the book was made for our anniversary and that I had written it. And I think she saw the signature of her artist on the inside flap. I thought she had seen that, but maybe I'm wrong there. And I suppose that would explain some of this, but I also think she recognized the style of art, so I'm not sure. Regardless of whether or not she recognized it, she should have taken a closer look. I know I sound super resentful in this post, and I do harbor some of that over this for sure, but it isn't as big as this one little picture may make it look. Still, it needs to be talked about, I agree, but people are saying we need a divorce, and that's not where we're at, lol. Finally, thank you all for encouraging me to keep up the gift giving for others. Yes. I have made sure my kids' and friends' gifts are good. I just haven't done personalized or made gifts for a few years now. Wow. But I will again, and I like the idea of making them random Tuesday gifts. So I will probably do some of that as well. By the way, you can listen to some of our full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime.
I just had a thought while you were doing that.
Whoa.
Through this headache I have in my left eyeball.
Did
which
you
is
have
fine.
Advil?
Which is fine. I just wanted to say it for all the people who see me rub my head. What if there's just something like, because I like how OP said something about just doing it like on random Tuesday.
I think that was
right?
just, yeah.
Because maybe this whole thing here, you know, he keeps saying that the relationship is great outside of this one thing. So of course divorce is overboard, but it's like maybe there's just something going on with like holidays for her that like make gifts like this just like
a lot.
I don't know.
Overwhelming, maybe.
Maybe I don't know. There might be some sort of like
And
childhood thing going on. Who knows?
Yeah, you can't know until you talk to her.
Yeah.
Well, we talked. She's never liked them. Not ever. Even when she said she did, she didn't. She knew I liked doing it, so she went along with it because she loves me, but eventually she just didn't have the energy for it. It took so many years to get her to tell me this. I tried so many times in ways I just shouldn't have bothered with, so much time and energy, and she just didn't care. She actively disliked it. I honestly don't know what to do with this. I hear many of you when you say I'm being selfish to make this about me. Maybe I am, but more than anything thus far, this hurts. It hurts because it is about me. Gift giving is a huge part of how I show love. I thought that at least in part, this won her over. But no. All these years, she had to put up with this. With me.
That's the worst thing that could have possibly been said. Other than like I'm cheating on you with multiple partners. Like
I
that.
think it's even worse than that because it's like I just hate you.
God.
What? No. 14.
I think I'm going back to divorce now.
Yeah, divorce. Number
this
14. Get this girl out of here.
How?
What? I asked why. She said she missed it then, and she said she kind of did miss it because she knew it made me happy. But that when I did it again, it was like this huge weight being thrown back on her. She said the kids love it though and encouraged me to start doing it for them again. And that she loves what I give her now and that she loves me, just not that.
What?
I don't know. I have to sleep. Maybe I'll update tomorrow. I figured this is the right time to talk about gift giving, and I'll say I thought about posting this in relationship advice, but I don't think I need advice as much as I just need people to tell me if I'm crazy for being upset at my wife for ruining my love of gift giving. And I apologize, this is kind of long, but I've been sitting on it for 5 years, and it's just time to get it all out. And that is the end of that depressing story.
Dang. I took back my gifts for my niece after she went through my phone.
This is my safe zone, not your snooping zone.
Yesterday, I went over to my sister's house to help her with some things. I was there for a couple of hours and took a little nap for like 4 hours because I was tired. After I woke up, I went home and my husband was being a little off and seemed kind of upset or unhappy. I'm like, "What's up?" And he says, "I'm being nice for someone who just texted what I did." I sent my kids upstairs and started asking what was going on. By the way, this comes from user Throwaway Stacks and Rice. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. He says I sent him divorce texts. I'm shocked because I never did that, which I let him know. I even showed him my phone, which did not show any such texts. He then shows me his messages under my name, and apparently I want a divorce. I was bamboozled because not only did I not think it, but I definitely did not text that. This affected him a little more because we had a fight the previous night, but we have a tradition of sorts which is reassuring each other that we still love and care, but are just upset in the moment. I'm only adding this because I said something along those lines in the morning before I left, which I brought up when I was defending myself against the text I had supposedly sent. He then says I had done something similar previously. This is in reference to when I was pregnant and had some pseudo-bipolar symptoms, which have since been mostly resolved. I've only done this once, and it wasn't even on the same level. I just kind of used to have terrible mood swings. Also, this was only during the pregnancy. I have no bipolar diagnosis or anything like that. That whole journey was kind of traumatic and is not a pleasant memory for me, which he is aware of. Anyway, after we bicker for a little bit, I decided to call my sister and explain what was happening. And then I'm like, hey, can you pull up your house footage from while I was there this morning? We're on FaceTime, and we fast forward to when I went to sleep. The outlet in the room I was in wasn't working, so I had plugged my phone in the dining area to charge while I slept. We see my 16-year-old niece on my phone. She was on it off and on for like 2.5 hours, smiling and giggling. I'm upset, and her mom is upset. She calls her and asks if she touched my phone while I was there, and she lies and says no. She asks her again 2 more times if she touched my phone, and she says she didn't. The laptop is faced away from her, and I believe she didn't realize I was on the phone or that we both already saw what she did. It was after my sister started trying to send me the footage, which I had initially asked for, that she saw that her mom had already seen what had happened. She started apologizing and saying it was supposed to be a prank, and she didn't mean anything by it. She called out to me, too, with apologies while she was crying. My sister is one of those silent when angry types, so she wasn't saying anything. I did not even know what to say at all at this time, because why would she even think this was a fun prank? Not to mention going into my phone without my permission. How she knows my password, I'm not sure, because it's not simple or related to me. I had initially promised I would sponsor her 17th birthday, which is next month. She had previously also asked for a new PC, which I got, but it's supposed to be a surprise. I also happen to be her godmother. My question is, will I be overreacting if I take all these gifts back and keep a distance from her? Is that overkill? I feel maybe I'm punishing her for the way my husband reacted and brought up something traumatic for me. Also, maybe his response is justified because he thought the texts were from me. And then I was all smiley and sweet when I came back. I'm confused on how to proceed, but Reddit has previously helped figure stuff out before, so I decided to turn to them again. Sorry if this was too lengthy, and let me know if there's anything I have to clarify. Thanks.
I don't think taking this away from her is gonna, well, it probably will sting, but she probably doesn't know it's coming. I think there needs to be more consequence on, hey, this is what happened, and this is a consequence. I don't know. If this were to happen, what would the courts do? Or like, what would something do? And kind of like, I don't know, reenact that as an adult. Because like before you turn 18, I believe that if you make any mistakes or things that need consequences, you need to prepare for the real world. Like, if you pull this in the real world, this is probably what's going to happen. And you need to prepare to that if you want to keep these behaviors up. Or you can learn from this and become a smart person and not do them. That's what I would want for my kid. And I would have to, like, with my partner, Dakota, in this scenario, we would talk about something. And I think what you and I came to is what we would do.
Yeah. The thing I'll say out of all this, there's one caveat, and it's that OP said that they were going to pull away, too. And like, this clearly you're not their parent, so it's not like your responsibility to parent them. But like, you don't need to do that. Like, clearly,
like
they're still 16. They're old enough to know that was wrong, but like, they're also 16.
Yeah.
Relevant comments. Irish Watcher. The most important thing first is to make sure your husband knows what really happened, and have your sister send him the video feed showing your niece on your phone. After you make sure he believes you, I would then go scorched earth with your niece. Actions have consequences, and she needs to understand that now. And that is in no way any type of prank. The person is there. With most pranks, the person is there to see the outcome and say, ha ha. Your niece would have had no idea what was going on, so how would she even know the prank that was successful or not? And obviously, I would change all my passwords on everything, including banking apps. OP replies, he was present when I asked for the footage, and he has seen it too. Right. And there's an update. Thank you, everyone, for all the comments and advice. It's incredibly appreciated. All of this happened yesterday. I only posted because I was slightly conflicted. To answer common questions, yes, I did sleep for 4 hours at my sister's house. She's my sister, and we do stuff like that. I didn't say I was tired from what I helped with her. I was simply just tired. Both of my sisters and niece weren't aware of my husband's and my fight from the previous night. Niece also was not aware of the full extent of my mental health struggles from the pregnancy. Niece wasn't texting for 2.5 hours straight. She was on and off the phone. I assume she got off it when she thought she would be caught. Apparently, she has known my password for a while now. She learned it from looking over my shoulder at a family event from a couple of months back. Also, according to my sister, she has gone into my phone before at least 3 times that she fessed up to. She has transferred money to herself, taken videos and pictures on it, gone through my texts with my kids and some other relatives, stolen other people's numbers, gotten passwords for my streaming services that they didn't own, and gone through my other texts with my husband. And yes, there's some not safe for work stuff in there. I think we need to maybe put a little more focus and attention at Denise.
Yeah.
Making sure she's not secretly like developing very negative behavioral patterns.
What?
Because I wasn't gonna say it, but Blush. I think they deleted their.
Oh, what do they say? What do
comment.
they say?
Well, there it is again. So she's a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thief in the night.
Yeah.
She's a thief in the night,
Dude,
getting on her
sending
phone.
money.
Yeah, sending money that's not yours is crazy. My husband is okay. We talked, and he apologized for how he spoke to me, but I told him I totally understood why he would say what he said. I also apologized for my reaction. We are okay on our front and decided we were both justified given what we both individually knew. Back to the niece. The only other thing she did, according to her, was transfer more money. I checked my recently deleted texts and there was nothing suspicious there, but I don't know if you can delete texts from recently deleted. You can. She also said she thought the prank would be funny because there was no way my husband would believe all that stuff she texted because, according to her, he loves me too much and we have a perfect relationship. In the texts, he had only replied that we would talk when I got home and that he wasn't going to have that conversation with me over texts. This girl went all the way to add that I would send the papers in a couple of days and talk about the kids with lawyers. I can't explain how absolutely pissed I am. The plan is to go absolutely no contact with her after learning of all the other stuff she did. There will be no birthday and no PC. Someone said to put up a post saying if anyone got a questionable text from me in the last 24 hours to let me know. I did that and no one had reached out yet. So I'm hoping it was just my husband. I'm getting my money back. I checked, and in total, she has sent over $700 to herself that I wasn't aware of. She did not send it in bulk, just little bits here and there. I guess I didn't catch on because I do send her money often, and I do have quite a bit in my account. Flex. So it wasn't obvious. Her mother will send the money to me from her daughter's savings later this weekend. I told her mother about the suggestions you guys gave on community service and therapy. I'm low-key scared for her future relationships and college life. She would not have any electronic devices for the rest of the summer. Personally, I do not want to lay eyes on her in the near future. Oh, and yeah, she has done this before to one of her friends whom she's still friends with. I don't know why anyone would remain friends with someone like that. This hurt me a lot because I love this child so much. I was more present than her father the first 11 years of her life. She used to come to me for her struggles and problems and all that teenage stuff. She had her first period at my house. Her other cousins on her dad's side are jealous of our relationship, for goodness sake. She was my favorite one.
Riley, I was a crappy teenage girl, and I'm telling you, I did the same crap at 16. I absolutely knew what I was doing. However, to your credit, I also didn't understand adult implications.
Someone needs to start teaching her. At the very least, I mean, she's 16. She's not a monster, irredeemable. Like, she has time to change.
Faith Reacts
We all
says
have time to change.
16 is you need to be harsh because in 2 years, they will be 18 and out of this world.
Right.
A lot of yard work. Dude, work, I'm sorry. I know like everyone's like child labor. Oh my God. I did a lot of child labor and look at me.
You're pro-child labor?
Yeah, I am.
And by the way, you can listen to your favorite episode of this podcast on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or really wherever you listen to podcasts in the first place. Just search OK Storytime. You'll have access to every episode we've ever uploaded. Almost. I don't really care what her mom does about all these. I just want my money back and to never speak to her for now. In the future, I might be open to some contact. I've blocked her number, so she sent me a long email, which I haven't read yet, and her mom also brought a handwritten apology letter from her to my husband. My sister is aware of my decisions and has apologized for her daughter's behavior. My mom is also aware of the situation now. I have no doubt it is about to become an extended family problem. Anyway, that's that for now. And we have some relevant comments. Let's get into them a little bit. Scenarioing. There will be no birthday and no PC. Will there be police for all the different crimes? She's 16. All the
Yeah.
different crimes? How many different crimes were there?
Well, there were some like not for safe things, and that could be considered in some things like maybe revenge porn or like if it got into the
she
wrong
didn't
hands.
post any of that stuff.
She didn't, but like I don't know if she didn't
It's
really
an
dive into that
invasion of
either.
Privacy. Well, it's the stealing all the money. Well, no, sorry, I'm remembering now.
This,
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're stealing the money from 3 different people.
So OP replies, we have decided not to go the legal route. I already got my money back with an additional $300. I have not really decided what to do about the snooping, pictures, videos, and passwords for now. DukeUp2867 says, not the a-hole. Please tell me you've now changed all of your passwords. OP says, we have. Me, my husband, and my kids.
Nice.
And that is the end of that story.
We refused to chip in for a Gucci bag gift, and my friend got furious.
Poor alert, poor.
That's, to be clear, everyone, we're referencing SpongeBob, where they go bald. I, 29 female, and my husband, 35 male, are part of a close group of friends. We're all in our late 20s and to mid 30s. Most of us are married or in serious relationships, and we usually celebrate birthdays together. The usual setup has always been that the birthday person hosts and pays for everyone. By the way, this comes from user Clarazin, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, but about a year ago, this weird new tradition started. For each birthday, someone opens a WhatsApp group and says, let's all chip in for this really expensive gift. We're talking about things like Hermes flip-flops, Formula One tickets, Gucci bags. It's all very public and a bit uncomfortable to say no. My husband and I have always gone along with it, even though it's felt a bit much at times. For example, we paid around 300 euros towards a 1,500 euro F1 ticket for my husband's best friend, Tom. At this time, it felt okay. But now, things are different. We're already parents to one child. We're trying for a second, and we just opened a new business which we fully funded from our own savings. Everyone in the group knows this, including Tom. We're doing fine financially, but we're definitely being more careful. These expensive group gifts are not something we feel comfortable doing anymore. A few weeks ago, it was my husband's birthday. One of the friends asked if I was going to open a WhatsApp group for a gift, and I said no. My husband didn't want anything. We hosted everyone for a pool party, paid for everything ourselves, and we're happy to do it. For the record, Tom gave my husband a nice bottle of tequila worth around 100 euros. We appreciated it. I'm not complaining at all. I've never judged or compared gifts, and I've been genuinely grateful for every single one, no matter the price. 2 weeks later, it was Tom's girlfriend's birthday. He opened a group chat and said he would like a Gucci bag. I told my husband I didn't want to participate in this one, and he agreed. We didn't reply in the group, but we bought her a 120 euro massage voucher as a gift. Her birthday was held at a really fancy and expensive beach restaurant. We went, enjoyed the event, had fun, made sure the birthday girl had a blast. A few days later, Tom wrote in the group that the bill was 3,000 euros and said that if anyone would like to contribute, they could. I told my husband I didn't want to chip in. We didn't choose the place. We gave her a gift, and again, we're being more mindful about money right now. He obviously agreed with me. Then, Tom messaged my husband privately and said he expected us to help with the dinner bill since we didn't join in on the group gift. He said our 100 euro gift wasn't enough, brought up the fact that we had always participated before, including for his Formula One ticket, and said we were being clowns for not pitching in all this time. I honestly don't understand it. I've never once complained about the gifts we've got. I've always been thankful, but suddenly we're being labeled as rude just because we made a different choice this time based on our current situation. And we have a little mini update from the comments section here. But like, before we get into it, where are we going, Angie? I know we're summoning fireballs.
If we can't do that, if physically unable, then get a flamethrower.
Okay.
You can get that like on Amazon, right?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Just as a stress release.
Yeah.
Into open space, you use the flamethrower. Into
That's
open
exactly
space.
what I was intending.
Completely open space with
Yep.
no one else there.
For sure.
We have an update, and it's a hilarious one, apparently. We've been trying to figure out who keeps logging into our TV streaming services. We live in Europe, and the streaming service is to watch TV from our home country. We pay about 280 euros a year for it and can only use it on 2 devices at once. We kept being logged out of our living room TV. It turns out Tom was using it since my husband logged in at his house a year ago. And there's some comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole. Serving you with a bill after the fact without informing you before the event that this would be expected is not a fair, friendly move. If Tom wants to buy expensive Gucci bags to his girlfriend and plan $3,000 dinners, that's great, but he can't expect the same level of chipping in from everyone else. It's his girlfriend, not everyone's. If Tom was a good friend, he wouldn't have stepped on multiple boundaries and called you clowns for not paying for his ideas. And a reply here says, it sounds like Tom overestimated his means when it came to this birthday and is now attempting to recover costs. Crowdfunding both the dinner and the gift is nasty business. Not to be misunderstood, because I'm not saying the lady doesn't deserve to be celebrated on her birthday. They're more than welcome to discuss beforehand with their friends what they wish for, so everyone can consider their affordability. Splurging $3,000 on a dinner and then hitting your guests with the bill after is wild. The Gucci bag probably brings this birthday to 5,000 euros. That is serious money. Second year in uni, my friend had a very horrible year. Muggings, bad relationships, and losing a part-time job. Before this year, she'd been saving to throw herself a 25th birthday as a weekend getaway for all of us. But it just wasn't possible with all that happened. As her friends, we took the initiative to plan a weekend away for her. Contributions were not equal, but everyone did what they could to make it special. And that is still one of my favorite weekends away I've ever done. Comment number 2. Got me wondering if Tom started this tradition and whether his girlfriend is part of the WhatsApp group. Because like you, I would be very embarrassed that my man had to crowdfund my birthday gift from his friends. OP says Tom's girlfriend is actually the one that started the whole thing with his F1 ticket. Reply. What were the gifts they got you guys during this whole gift crowdfunding expedition, not including the alchemical? Because if the price of the things they got for the both of you doesn't match anywhere near the price of any of the gifts you've gotten for them, it looks very shifty, and I'm going to believe they're tossing you crumbs in return for pricier stuff. OP says nothing, to be honest. It started in January. My husband's birthday is in July and mine is in November. Reply. So the only crowd-funded gifts have been Tom and his girlfriends? And now there's an update.
It's a great question. Now I'm thinking fireball in one hand, ice ball in another. Boom. Boom. Heat him up. Boom. Freeze him. Boom. Heat him up. Boom, 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 boom. And then their body can't handle that, change in temperature. And they just
Yo,
they
do
just
the
crumble.
Godzilla -1.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
Go watch
how
that movie, folks.
That's how we now are dealing with this situation.
I low-key wonder how Tom would react if you just, because I don't know, I guess maybe Tom is a little is Tom upper tax bracket? He could be. I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe he's not. Maybe it's all an illusion. But if you hit Tom with the what are you, broke?
Yeah.
What are you, broke?
Dude.
Huh? What are you, broke? I mean, I'll help you out if you're a little broke boy, boy.
Honestly, do that. If you're already planning on not being friends with him and any of these people again, go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? You're already going to walk away from them.
Yeah.
Also,
it's
change your
weird.
password on your thing, on your subscription.
Yeah. It's crazy, too, that he's like, well, you did it the last time when it was my F1 ticket that I really liked.
Yeah, it's like,
why won't you do this for my girlfriend?
because that was a special thing. I can't just be giving away F1 tickets all the time.
There's no
Goodness
way
gracious.
it's going to be the same energy when it's OP's birthday and when it's her husband's birthday.
They got a 100 euro thing. It's not.
Update! After reading the comments, my husband and I realized we hadn't been as clear with our friend group as we should have been. So we wrote a respectful message in our group chat with everyone. Hi guys, first of all, we love you all. Just wanted to say we're no longer participating in the group gift tradition. With our growing family and the new business, we're trying to be more mindful with our money. We'll always celebrate you in our own way. Thank you for understanding. Most people responded kindly and said they completely understood. Then one couple reached out to us privately and told us they're currently going through IVF. They said they've been feeling very uncomfortable with the pressure of the group gift tradition, but didn't want anyone to know what they were going through. They were afraid that if they opted out, people would ask questions, and they were really relieved we spoke up. We also spoke to everyone else individually. Aside from Tom, his girlfriend, and one other couple, everyone was glad to stop the expensive gift tradition. That one other couple preferred the group gifts because they found them more convenient, but they weren't upset at all and didn't cause any drama. They just said they'll go along with whatever the group decides. Tom and his girlfriend, though, didn't take it so well. Yesterday, Tom texted my husband saying our message in the group chat felt passive-aggressive and like we were throwing shade at him. His girlfriend messaged me and said we should have just told her privately that we don't have the money instead of announcing it in front of everyone. She was upset that now the tradition was over. The tradition where you get expensive stuff for free.
You shouldn't have brought up that these group gifts are too expensive. Now you gave everyone else the idea. It's like when you're watching over kids. You can't say who needs to go to the bathroom because then everyone is going to need to go to the bathroom.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep it light and said, no problem. My birthday's coming up and I want a trip to Thailand for my whole family. She didn't respond. To make sure there were no hard feelings, we also sent Tom 200 euros to cover our share of the food and drinks from his girlfriend's birthday dinner. Then today, we spoke with them again, and things got even more frustrating. They told us that our decision not to do any group gift or any gift at all for my husband's birthday came off as condescending and inconsiderate, as if we were better than them for not wanting gifts. Apparently, setting this straight made life harder for everyone. That was never our intention. We just genuinely didn't want anything, and we're happy to host and celebrate without gifts. And by the way, you'll never be without more episodes with stories just like this on your podcast platform of choice. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to our entire catalog of episodes. Bam!
Yup.
Yeah, there's a little bit more here. Group chat politics. Grr. How frustrating.
This is how I feel about group chat politics.
I mean, it really feels like everyone is on the exact same page except Tom and his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so obviously stupid. They brought it up and they're just like, hey guys, like, this is a lot. And then everyone was like, yeah, it's a lot. We got like lives to pay for and children to pay for. And then they're like, you're not going to give us expensive gifts anymore? What? Wait, you think you're better than us because you won't give us expensive... What? Guys, boot them. Boot them out of here. Boot them out of the group chat. Boot them out of the friend group. Frick them. Frick these people. Frick their F1 ticket having butts. Frick them and their $3,000 dinner reservations. Frick you. Frick all of you guys. Fireball. All right? God.
Angie has spoken. Y'all getting fricked.
Yeah. My gosh.
Kamehameha.
Gosh.
Okay. Just kick them out. As a group, we've now all agreed to go back to the old tradition. The birthday person hosts everyone. When we were younger, that usually meant breakfast, lunch, or dinner at home, nothing over the top. It felt more personal and less stressful, and everyone seems happier going back to that. Lastly, my husband and I have decided to take a step back from Tom. This whole situation made it clear that a lot of people in the group feel like they can't say anything around him without him getting offended. We're not angry, we're just tired. We want to enjoy our friendships without walking on eggshells. Thanks again to everyone who commented on the original post. You helped us see that we weren't crazy for feeling the way we did. In the end, we think this reset was needed for us and for the group. And just FYI, we're a group of 5 couples.
Yeah.
That is the end of that story.
My father disowned me over a birthday cake.
Probably a very delicious birthday cake, and I'd probably do the same thing.
I'm a 28-year-old woman who just had my birthday on September 15th. Before my birthday, I was feeling pretty down because negative things always seem to happen around it. Relatives passing away, pets passing away, my ex cheating on me and leaving me on my birthday. By the way, this comes from Katatao, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, My family was always very poor when I was a child, and we never really celebrated birthdays. As life improved, I got a cake once during my adolescence, and later a $10 to $20 gift. Since then, that's been my birthday experience. My parents ask me what I want, something inexpensive, and I get it. That's enough for me. About a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. Since then, it has been a huge struggle. My parents have neglected my health, both mental and physical. They never cared about my late autism diagnosis, but I thought it would be different regarding my body. Since my diabetes diagnosis, they've offered me foods I can't eat. I've almost passed away going to hospitals. My vision is blurry due to the late diagnosis, and I've almost passed away from hypoglycemia. They don't care. I've asked them not to give me sweets. A few days before my birthday, we went to a fair. My dad gave me a beautiful feather earring. The funny thing is, my dad was making jokes about my brother. He made an analogy like, imagine someone giving you a delicious candy you can't eat. That's extremely disrespectful. I agreed. When we got home from the fair, there was a cake. I asked if the cake was normal. They said yes, and they started filming me receiving the cake. I wasn't really comfortable. I told my dad, and he said, do you know how much I paid for this cake? It was expensive. This is your present. That was extremely stupid because I can't eat that cake. And they didn't give me the chance to request something like every year. I calmly left and wrote a message telling him it was very disrespectful, asking him to delete the video. I explained I was already anxious about my birthday, and this made everything worse. Of course, he didn't respond. I cried, and my boyfriend was my salvation. I had shown both my family and my boyfriend a place that sold a cake for diabetics at a cheaper price than the cake my parents had bought. Only Jacob, my boyfriend, bought it for me and even got me flowers. My parents seemed a bit upset, and the next day my mom seemed remorseful, saying she wasn't used to my health situation even though it had been a year. I decided I would go to a hair salon for the first time and ask for a little money from them. My dad didn't say anything. I hate it when my family doesn't apologize or acknowledge their mistakes. 2 days later, I thought everything was fine because I made an effort to talk normally with my parents. But my dad sent my boyfriend and me the video I had asked him to delete, edited with happy, cheerful music. That made me even angrier. I was extremely upset. Everything seemed fine, and now you send me this? It's been a week, and he still hasn't apologized. Sometimes I wonder if I overreacted, but I'm still very upset about it. No, you did not overreact.
No.
You told your family your medical needs.
Mm-hmm.
They chose to ignore it and then get mad at you for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you are just explaining the situation to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're so close to getting it, and then they don't. So no, your reaction it was natural and it was genuine, so it's valid.
Yeah. Shauna says it's type 2. If she had it since birth, they would have figured it out. Not necessarily. You can get diagnosed later with type 1. A lot of my aunts got diagnosed later. So it just depends. But type 1 you can get diagnosed later in life. But usually like teens, it's not like that much later, but
Yeah.
I have some aunts who got diagnosed when they were young, and then some that got diagnosed like much later in life. Update: yesterday I asked my dad to come with me as a passenger because I'm still a new driver. But then another fight started, and it all ended up going back to the cake story again. It began with me feeling upset because my sister lied to my dad about something, and he came to confront me. He always takes her side, and since I was already feeling sensitive, I started bringing up all the serious things my sister has done to me that he never talked to her about. And then my dad stooped real low. He told me to F off, refused to listen, and kept talking over me. By the time we got to the parking lot, I was crying, mostly out of anger. He kept going, and he was the one who brought up the cake situation again. That really shocked me because I thought my family would realize they had done wrong. Maybe apologize or try to make it right. Instead, my dad started yelling, saying he had disowned me, that I was passed away to him, that I had done the worst thing possible to him, and that he would remember this humiliation until his passing breath. He even said the cake my boyfriend gave me was awful, that his cake was the good one. There was no way to have a real conversation. He wouldn't listen, kept interrupting me, and said a lot of really cruel things. I told him it wasn't fair to drag Jacob into this conversation, but then he accused me of dragging him into it, of twisting the story, of making my family look like monsters, and he told both me and Jacob to F off. So I asked him, before I received the cake, I had asked you not to give me sweets. After I got the cake, I sent you a message thanking you, but I told you it hurt me and that I wanted you to delete the video. So why, after all of that, did you send me the video again? He answered that he had hoped I would open my eyes and see the mess I was making of things. My parents put themselves in a position that honestly disgusts me, where they claim parents always come first, must be respected no matter what, but they don't have to respect me back. Before getting out of the car at the market, I decided to say something that made him done to me too. I told him about a picture we once took together. He interrupted me saying he could just delete it. He didn't care. But I continued and said, I really liked that picture, but back then you cut me out of it and used the cropped picture on your Tinder to cheat on mom. That was the moment you were done to me. Well, yeah, so I mean, your dad has never been a good guy, seems like.
Seems like he
your
wants
dad
to
has
eat
always
other
been
people's
dead.
cake.
Dude, that's crazy. But that's honestly like a good comeback
Yeah.
to all that. It's like,
It's like, you're disowning me? I
Yeah.
disowned you ages ago when you cheated on mom.
yeah, exactly. You want to talk about pictures we like?
Oh, you want to talk about pictures?
You want to talk about pictures. Like, hopefully that will open up your mind. Like, what? My goodness.
Of course, he acted innocent and denied everything, but I just closed the car door and went inside. When I came back, the ride home was silent. I wonder what my mom thought about all of this. Part of me thought maybe she regretted what happened because the day the cake things first happened, she seemed a little regretful. But today I saw her at the gate and I took the chance to ask what she thinks. She was a bit rude, and it seems she feels the same way as my dad. Our conversation was confusing. Instead of solving things, they changed the subject, point fingers, and list what they think are my mistakes. She even said some really hurtful things like that what I think doesn't matter. The truth is, when I first got the cake, I smiled, thanked my parents, and acted happy. Only later did I calmly send a message saying I didn't like it and that I wanted the video deleted. I only lost my patience after he resent the video to me. My mom told me she wouldn't stand by someone who's been messing up lately, that I've been doing horrible things, that I twist stories to my boyfriend and his family. And when I asked her what she was basing that on, she admitted it was just a feeling.
Feeling?
She's like, I just feel like you're telling them dirty, dirty lies. And he's like, so I told them that you did this. Is that true? And the mom's like, well, yes. But I also told them
gotta
this.
trust my gut, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a sense.
Yeah. I gotta trust my gut over everything, especially when I find out the truth.
Ooh, but she'll stand by her cheating husband.
Yeah,
and do the
exactly.
I
thing
don't know if
that
she
he
knows he
says.
cheated.
I mean, I think she needs a gut check.
Yeah. Why doesn't her
Yeah.
gut tell her that he cheated?
Right.
She even said that if I hadn't cried to my boyfriend, he wouldn't have bought the cake or done any of those things for me, as if I shouldn't even have told Jacob what happened. For a moment, I even wondered if I really was wrong because they were so insistent. But when I went back and reread the messages I sent them, I realized I wasn't disrespectful at all. In the video, I didn't curse anyone. I stayed polite, just said I wasn't comfortable. So no, I don't think I'm wrong. I actually am furious because I think it takes so much audacity to be in the wrong, insist on staying wrong, play the victim, insult the people you hurt, and then ignore their feelings when they try to explain. Yesterday in the car, I even pressed my dad to answer me, and he said what I feel doesn't matter, that I could shove my feelings up my butt. I vented about all this to a dear friend, and she thinks maybe my parents feel inferior to me because my boyfriend is American and I'm Brazilian, and he gives me things my parents never did. Not just gifts. He gives me attention, he's kind, he buys me things I can actually eat, like the cake, while my parents got me something I couldn't eat. On top of that, my boyfriend wants me to move to the US, and my parents are against it. Even I have mixed feelings about it because I worked very hard to get my house and my car, and I see them not just as material possessions, but as proof of everything I went through to get here. But I've noticed that every time Jacob comes to visit me in Brazil, my parents start picking fights with me over ridiculous things. My sister does the same. So I don't think it's just about the cake. I think they feel inferior somehow and take it out on me. By the way, you can feel superior if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. How old is OP?
I got you.
Because
Great
I thought
question.
OP
I've been
was
wondering.
like a teenager.
Okay,
Maybe
got it.
it might be.
28.
Maybe it is type 2. I don't know. But they
Yeah.
said late diagnosis, so maybe it's type 1.
Well,
we
but
don't
maybe it's like it was developed and then like it wasn't diagnosed as soon as it developed. You know
And
what I
OP
mean?
did say she had a lot of health problems because they didn't diagnose it. So maybe it is type
True.
1.
So well,
We don't know. We don't know which type it is.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the
Either way.
day, your family doesn't believe that your diagnosis is real.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's good to have other support systems. So obviously,
Yeah.
keep on feeling out for more friends and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad that your boyfriend is
Me too.
good to you,
Yeah.
and he cares about you and all that. It's very disappointing that your family doesn't seem to do that.
Yeah. I think take your time. Don't rush into a decision about like moving to America if you wanna keep this life that you built. But also be open, if you've had like depending on how long the relationship with your boyfriend is, maybe if it's like 1 year, maybe see how the next year goes and then make that decision. Or
Yeah.
like you don't have to make it right now. You could say, hey,
Yeah.
let me think about it.
Yeah, I think if you're hesitating, I think that just means you shouldn't do it yet.
I agree.
Maybe
Yeah.
not never, but you should
Yeah.
definitely wait before you wait until you're sure.
Yeah, because it's a big decision.
And sure
also,
on your terms too.
Yeah.
Not on like, I mean, I'm sure your boyfriend's fine, but like just in case he, convinces you or something like that, I don't think he would do it in like a, I don't know, malicious way.
Yeah.
But just to keep an eye out for that.
And also go like limited contact with or no contact, like whatever contact you want, just go less with your parents. Go a little less.
Yeah. Think about that amount of contact and reduce it.
Reduce it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left.
Oh,
there's
wow.
left? There's
I
more
thought that
left?
was the end.
No, sorry.
Would you look at that?
So that's where I'm at. For now, I don't plan to give in. I honestly didn't want things to turn out like this. I would like my parents to take care of my plants while I'm abroad. And I do wish I could have a relationship with them. But it's really hard to have any kind of relationship when things escalate to this level. When I try to express myself and they don't listen, and when they finally do, they act like my feelings don't matter at all. It feels like poison in my chest. And that's the end of that story. I ignored my family after they excluded me from Christmas.
Well, I would too. Sounds like
Good bullies. For context, I, 29 female, have not been on great terms with my family for a long time. My mom has spent most of my life doing everything she can to tear me down. And as of now, I haven't spoken to her in almost 3 years. By the way, this comes from Snorgum. Ew.
ew.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you do in the comments. And OP says, I've got an okay relationship with my brother, 32
Hey.
male. That's all you can ask for.
Okay.
OP.
Okay.
I work with my brother too. And I love my dad. Me too. Not your dad. I don't know about your dad.
I love their dad.
Even though he enables my mom and never stands up for me because he doesn't like to rock the boat.
Ooh. Well, should have read that first.
Until a few months ago, I lived pretty close to my parents, but I recently moved across the country, and I don't have any friends or family anywhere near my new home. I love holidays and celebrations, but no one else in my family does. When I was younger, they used to make fun of me or get frustrated when I would try to be festive around Christmas, and eventually I stopped trying. I'm sorry. When you were younger, so you were like a little 8-year-old, and you were like, it's Christmas. And they're like, look at this dweeb. Look at this little 8-year-old thinking that Santa's real. Loser.
Ooh.
Idiot. For the past decade, my family hasn't done anything for any holiday. How old is OP? OP is 29.
3.
So since you were 19, that's so sad. However, my brother...
worms. You're gonna kiss.
Savannah, lock in.
Sorry.
However, my brother, who lives in a different state, got divorced a couple years ago, and his ex took their house.
Oh.
So my parents bought a duplex in his town so that he could live on one side with my 4-year-old niece, and they could live part-time on the other. They still have their house in my hometown that they live in most of the year, but the last 2 years my parents have gone up to stay in their side of the duplex for the whole month of December, and they've celebrated Christmas with my brother and niece. Last year, they didn't even tell me that they were going. Oh, so now niece comes along and they'll celebrate Christmas with whoever.
Yeah, what's
They
wrong
got
with them?
favorites. They
I-
got people they prioritize.
I am aghast. I found out from my dad's Facebook. It hurt that they decided to celebrate Christmas all together and didn't even tell me. They're just a bunch of Grinches.
Why don't they like her?
Why don't
they like
you?
OP? What's wrong with her?
But I shook it off. This year, though, they did it again. My dad called me on Christmas Eve and told me how much fun they were having as a family, then asked me what I was doing for Christmas. Evil. I don't love your dad. Your dad sucks.
Yeah, I take it back. Hated him from the beginning.
Imagine calling your daughter and being like, we're having so much fun at Christmas. What are you doing? Alone. Like a loser. Sorry, I actually have to go because I'm doing fun Christmas things.
Still believe in Santa Claus, idiot.
These people are awful.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I don't know anyone in my new city, and my family is all celebrating Christmas without me. I'm going to give you actual good advice. Go do some community service.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's honestly the best way. You get to be with people. You get to do a good thing. My cousin and my aunt do that every Christmas.
What do you do every Christmas?
I celebrate with my family.
I lay down and take naps.
Monsters, both of you.
So sorry. He paused like he didn't consider that, then quickly got off the phone. He later sent me a selfie of them all together saying, "Merry Christmas from Brothers State."
No.
I didn't answer. Actually, I stopped answering at all. My dad and I usually talk 2 to 3 times a week to check in, but he's called me once and texted me twice, and I haven't answered since Christmas Eve, 7 days ago. I've also not been posting on my socials, and given that I'm not answering him or posting and I'm all alone in a city far away, he really doesn't know if I'm alive or not. This is sad. He texted me yesterday saying, "Please tell me if you're okay." Obviously not, Dad. You
ruin Christmas for me every year. You think I'm going to be happy about it?
And I haven't responded. I know it's petty, but I'm really hurt that I wasn't even thought of for the family holiday. Even if I was invited, I probably wouldn't have gone just because I don't want to be around my mom. But being left out entirely really hurts. Having them rub my face in it with their selfie is even worse. I've been ignored by my family for my whole life, and I'm tired of trying. I don't know how to say this to my dad, and I don't want to talk to him until I know what to say. Am I the a-hole by maintaining my silence? There was no conclusive vote on am I the a-hole, but most comments, blah, blah, blah. Update! There is an update! Alert, alert! 10 months later.
Oh gosh.
However,
dude.
we're going to pause.
It's a wrap, man.
I think you got to find a new family.
Yeah, you can buy those somewhere, right?
I think so. Rent a family. New movie.
No, but I want to own it.
Oh, you could rent to own.
Okay.
If you do well enough at convincing them that you're cool, maybe they'll stay there free of charge.
How
Mhm.
fun if we all got rented out.
There's a movie about this.
That sounds more weird.
They do it in Japan.
You rent family?
There's a brilliant movie with Brendan Fraser that just came out recently.
Is it No Other Choice?
No, it's rental family.
Rent
I just
said that.
family.
It's about renting a family.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, also, no other choice I think is set in Korea. Update!
Don't cancel
Uh-oh.
me. I got the place wrong.
Uh-oh.
My bad, everyone.
10.5 months later. I didn't think my post from last year was that interesting, but a surprising number of people have asked me for an update, so here it is. It was too sad to not have an update. I needed to get better. After a couple weeks of radio silence, I followed some good advice from my original post and texted my dad to tell him it hurt my feelings that they left me out, and he half apologized, and life went on. A lot of people pointed out that while my family was toxic, me ignoring my dad was also pretty toxic. And they were right. My family is super passive aggressive, and that is the only way I'd ever learn to handle conflict. And to answer some more comments, I have been in therapy for about 6 years. And after last Christmas, I started working with my therapist on how to do healthier confrontation. It's still not something I'm super comfy with, but I'm getting better. I've also made a good number of friends in my new
right.
city.
There you go.
Love it. And I'm doing pretty well, all things considered.
Oh, that's so nice. Moving here, I'm glad I had a good friend group.
Yeah.
But
you
find
had
a
a
little
built-in
hobby.
one.
Yeah. I had a built-in one. That is true.
Yeah, that's how it was for me with Sam. But then you kind of branch off.
You do.
Start making your own.
I had my sister, and I was like, well, I hate all them. What do I do?
So
Bro,
messed up.
I hate to say it, but I could see it.
Right. We're both very different people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, her friends are great, but, you know, when we get in fights, they'll always automatically take her side. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, now I don't like you guys.
Well,
Well,
they're
now you
biased.
have
Yeah, exactly.
your own friends.
And now I have my own friends to
You have
take my side.
Sophia. She's
My
alright.
bestie's always going to take my side.
Really?
No.
Every-
All right.
no,
I'll jump off a
I
cliff.
always will take your side. But I will tell you when you're wrong.
Yeah, she would.
With my family, at the end of the day, nothing has changed. They didn't really acknowledge my 30th birthday in spring, and most recently, when I invited my dad to my grad school graduation next year, he told me that he couldn't commit to it right now because he's waiting to see if something that he'd rather do comes up.
Stop. He did not say that.
He didn't say the last part, but he
Oh.
did say he couldn't commit, which is crazy. That's your father.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not going to commit right now. There might be something that comes up that I'll have to do.
Like
I don't know.
what?
I like to keep my day free in a year.
Yeah,
in
Randy,
advance.
Randy might want to go golf. I don't know.
I was
Yeah.
thinking
We're going on
maybe I'd
vacation.
go on a walk that day. I don't know.
Might get a call.
Keep
Who
my
knows?
options
Might
open.
get a call.
My brother said he'd come, but he's already gone from a yes to a maybe. You are asking them a year in advance. So I don't have high hopes. By the way, I hope that you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I think your family's horrible, and they always have
Yeah.
been. So
Yeah.
hopefully you get out of there and you have friends now that you can have like a friend's Christmas or like, you know, stuff like that to like celebrate holidays so that you're not all alone with your, you know, miserable family on wherever they are. But yeah, seems like you found your group, found your people, OP, and they're not your family, which is great.
Agreed. Your family stinks.
Can't choose your family, but you can get rid of them.
Sure
But you can choose
Sure
not to
can.
talk to them.
The good news is that it finally hurts less because I have more or less given up on having a real relationship with them.
In this scenario, is it better not to have hope?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just a letdown every time. That's
Tough.
what OP has been through this whole time. It's just a big letdown all the time. That's exhausting.
Yeah. I'm never going to be loved or cared about by them the way I want to be. Ouch. And I've come to accept that. As of now, I have no plans for Christmas this year, but it's okay.
Dude, ask one of your friends. They'll
Yeah.
adopt you.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, what are you doing for Christmas?
Yeah,
Can I
just be
come
like, I'm
over?
not really doing anything, but like,
My
if you-
family sucks.
I can bring like some pigs in a blanket.
My family sucks, but I'm really lucky in my friends, and I'm grateful for that. And some comments from Quats5555. You're ignoring them is only toxic if you're doing it as a punishment. If you're doing it for self-preservation, it's wise. Talk with your therapist about this. Opie says, if I'm being honest, it was more or less 50-50 self-preservation and punishment. It's something I've worked on in therapy since last Christmas, though. Reiselfson says he told me that he couldn't commit to it right now because he's waiting to see if something that he'd rather do comes up. Sweet baby pickles.
Sweet baby pickles.
Sweet baby pickles.
I'm
Opie
saying that.
says, to be fair, I am paraphrasing there, and that wasn't verbatim. His reasoning was more like, well, XYZ might happen, or ABC might happen around that time, or we're going to go on a vacation at some point too, so I have to factor that in. Or you could just factor the graduation in and then say, oh, can't go that day because I'm busy. Still basically the same thing, but less blunt. Ness18518 says, this is a sad update. So nothing has changed, and you're still sad about it. SMH. You need to cut these effers off already. OP says, unfortunately, for those of us with feelings, it's not that fast and easy to just get over something like this. There's a lot of grief to navigate when it comes to accepting the loss of a family, even if what I'm grieving is just an idea. The update is that nothing has changed with my family, but that I'm finally okay with it and am moving on. That's about as good as it gets. Not sure what else you want. And the Woolio says, if you have available time, this is what I said. May I recommend volunteering for a local charity related to Christmas? I said that. There are a lot of them that do toy shops, food for families, etc., where you may find a lot of joy if you love Christmas. And it could also be a great way to meet new people you have something in common with. Opie says, I'm not sure if I'll have time this year because I'm in the trenches of my grad program. But this is an excellent idea, and if I can't do it this year, I'll look into it in the future. And that's the end of the story.
So nothing
Lovely.
changed, but at least she feels less sad about it.
I think so. Has come to,
Yeah, just kind of accept it.
Yeah.
And hopefully move on from it.
I hope you
That's
have
hard.
at least better friends.
Yeah. I hope you just find a group, honestly.
Yeah.
Me too.
I remember moving here. One of the things that helped me a lot was my basketball thing
Yeah.
because
get a
I was able
hobby.
to have somewhere that's consistent. I know I'm going to see these people multiple times a month or so.
Mhm.
And just like a touch point,
Yeah. Mine was rock climbing.
Rock climbing? Really? Really?
I
Wait,
met
you've
a lot of people in
Always rock climbing? How long have you been rock climbing?
Since
A year.
yeah.
A year?
A year. And that's when I found my group, was like a year ago. I've been here 2.5 years, but the first year was actually horrific. And I contemplated moving back to Ohio for a really long time because I was like, oh, but then I was like, what would people think of me?
So
And I was like,
really, it's all based on you.
so really, it's all Sophia. Sophia did it.
You're welcome.
It's all on her.
But then if you think about it, it's actually Greg. So it really all comes back to Greg.
It really goes back to Greg put a gun to my head and said, you will stay and be in my sketch group. And I said,
Yeah.
all right, I guess that's a compliment.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you're saying I'm funny. I'll take it.
Sure.
Well, sure.
But we've got another story.
My husband's ex kissed him at his mother's party, so I walked out.
Why is your ex there in the first place?
I, 29 female, and my husband, 31 male, went to his mother's birthday party this weekend, and to my surprise, my husband's ex was also there. By the way, this comes from user NoDrummer7092, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota,
And I'm Savannah.
and we are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we know, so let us know what you know in the comments. And OP says, some backstory. Me and my husband have been married for 2 years and together for 3 years. We met about a year after he broke up with his ex, and when we talked about our previous relationships and experiences, he told me I was his second relationship ever. He explained he dated his ex, who's also his twin sister's best friend, from senior year of high school until they were 27. They had a messy breakup. He proposed, and she said no because she wanted to see the world and wasn't ready to settle down. Fast forward to this past weekend, we get to my parents-in-law's house, and she is there. I didn't know who she was at first. We start mingling, and at some point, this woman I don't know comes up to us and ignores me first and turns to my husband and says, "Are you seriously keeping on ignoring me?" I was confused. My husband looks at me and introduces us like, "Sabrina, this is my wife, Marianne. Baby, this is Sabrina, my ex." What?
Crazy!
Before I could say anything, she hugs my husband, and to his credit, he steps back and pulls me to stay in the middle of them. He's like hiding behind you. He's like looking over your shoulder.
He went, no!
At this point, I have a lot of questions for my husband, but I decided to table it until we got home. The festivities kept going. After my mother-in-law blows the candles out, my father-in-law, husband, and sister-in-law all give speeches for her. When sister-in-law starts her speech, she begins with, "My mother must be excited to have her true daughter-in-law back in the fold. Welcome back, Sabrina." What?
Why would she say that?
At this point, everyone is looking between me and Sabrina. I'm visibly uncomfortable. My husband asks if I want to leave, and I say no because I didn't want to cause a scene. I excuse myself to go to the bathroom, and my mother-in-law follows me inside. She apologizes for her daughter's behavior and tells me not to worry about Sabrina because her son has been happier and she can see we love each other. I thank her and go outside, where I'm met with my sister-in-law screaming, "Kiss, kiss," and my husband telling her to stop and Sabrina grabbing his arm.
Wait, like,
What is
She's saying like kiss like Sabrina and the husband like
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Like 2 action figures. She's trying to slam together.
What? Why?
What is wrong
Kiss.
with your sister-in-law? What a crazy lady. At this point, I'm starting to see red. On my way to them, Sabrina grabs my husband and plants a kiss on his lips, and he just stands there. I turn around, grab my things, and walk out. I was extremely frustrated. To be fair, dude, like, what can he do that's not gonna be like, now everyone's like, oh my God, he put his hands on her!
Yeah, true.
Like, I can see that, so, but, like, at the same time, bro, like, get in the defensive position, like, just
pop a one.
Like, what are you doing? Like, hit one of these. Like,
His wife wasn't there to put in front.
Yeah.
He said, where's my barrier?
His defensive barrier was not there. I had to spend the whole day with 2 people who clearly have no respect for me or my relationship. I called an Uber and went home. About 2 minutes into the drive home, my husband texts me asking where I am. He doesn't give me time to reply and calls. I decline it and text him that I was on my way home. He keeps calling until I just turn my phone off. I get home, and about 15 minutes later, my husband arrives. He asks me why I left, which, dude, you should know exactly why she left.
Yeah, what?
And I lose it. I tell him the blatant disrespect from his ex and sister, his ex constantly flirting with him, and the cherry on top, his ex kissing him. He apologizes, and I ask him, do you still have feelings for her? He vows he doesn't, and that he was just caught by surprise and didn't act fast enough. He didn't have his tactical awareness turned up. He said he should have been more direct in stopping his sister and ex. I tell him I have a headache and I'm going to bed. He asks if I'm mad, and I tell him yes. I'm mad at this situation and disappointed in how you handled things. The party was Saturday. Sunday, I start getting bombarded with texts from his sister telling me I'm a drama queen, that I had no right to ruin her mother's birthday party, and that my attitude is why my husband will leave me and go back to Sabrina. Dude.
Whoa.
Is she like on something? Like,
Yeah.
What is compelling this person to say all this?
Who's the sister? Wait, is it sister-in-law?
Sister-in-law.
Yeah. Like what is her issue with her? Like she obviously like probably has like a nice relationship with Sabrina and just like misses her or whatever, but like why you gotta diss Marianne? What did she do?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm if I'm OP, like that's a scrap. Them scrapping words right there. I give the phone to my husband and tell him either he handles his sister or I will. So am I the a-hole for just leaving? No, you're not. Many people probably would have gotten into a brawl.
Yeah. I feel like it was either you leave or like something's going to go down there. And I feel like it was best to just remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
And I think that it also is better, like, your husband also leaving and not like staying there the rest of the time. I think that also shows like, okay, my wife's upset. I need to go and, work this out, whatever. So I think like there is, like he is choosing you over like the ex or whatever,
Yeah,
but still.
yeah,
like,
I do think your husband cares about you and this is just, it was such a shock to him. But like, man, you really messed up letting that happen. How do you let, it's really hard for me to imagine like just like not playing defense against a kiss. Like
yeah.
how fast was she? That had to have been really quick to get through the defenses, Hi, everyone. Well, I asked my husband if we could talk before we had dinner, and he said, of course. I start by apologizing for not having his back. As most of you point out, he was hurt by his ex. No buts. I just tell him I'm extremely sorry. I was only seeing it from my point. Because honestly, even though he never gave me reasons, I felt insecure and thought maybe he still had feelings for his ex, and it consumed me. That is a good point from his perspective. He was assaulted, but also like, buddy, where's your defense? Whoa, all it takes is oh,
or just a little, nope.
His sister was never this openly hostile to me, so in my head, I made up a bunch of scenarios that maybe she was like that because she knew something I didn't, but that was on me, not him, only on me. I tell him I left because honestly I was pissed, but mainly I was scared of losing him and what we have. But I see my actions could be the reason I lose him. not anyone else or their actions. He tells me that at the time the kiss happened, he froze because he honestly didn't believe she would go that far. He explains that after I left, he went off on both his sister and ex, and his mom told everyone it was time to leave. I apologize again, and he tells me that it hurt that I just left him there. It wasn't so much the kiss itself, but the fact that I would doubt him so easily. He says since Sunday we were dancing around each other, not really talking. He called his mom just for advice. His mom told him that while she understood his side, she also understood mine. That we're both adults and should just sit down and address our concerns with each other. She also texted me saying marriage is not for the faint of heart. It's not all roses and sunshine. The best you can do is communicate and trust in each other. Dude, gold star mom advice.
Yeah, that was sick.
I called my mother-in-law and apologized for leaving like I did and in no way wanted to ruin her party. She tells me I didn't, but that I need to trust my husband if I want this marriage to work. I tell her about the messages my sister-in-law is sending, and she says she talked with her. Sister-in-law told my mother-in-law that my husband has been texting Sabrina saying he's unhappy with me and was only with me until Sabrina was ready for something more, and I guarantee you that's a big load of poppycock.
That's like, what is this sister-in-law? I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, dude, why are you trying to ruin this?
Yeah, like, what is the complex going on here? Is like, sister-in-law is like, what, like upset that her brother is like married, like, period, and just wants to break it up, or like...
I think she has like some sort of relationship, like close relationship with Sabrina, or like really liked her and like misses her or whatever. Like, misses having her around.
Because they
But,
were
like,
besties, right? They were best friends.
and like, you can still be best friends, but he's moved on, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it is a weird situation, but like, I don't know. That doesn't excuse you trying to ruin the marriage that he's in. Like,
Yeah, that's really whack behavior. My mother-in-law told her that doesn't make any sense because if he was waiting for Sabrina, he could have dated me, but he wouldn't have married me. And if she thought otherwise, she doesn't know her own brother. Well, I've blocked her. My husband called her and told her he doesn't want to see or hear from her for the time being, and blocked her as well. We tell his parents and they tell us not to worry about her, that she will come to her senses soon, and if she doesn't, that's on her. And there's a second update. I wonder if we're going to get the explanation from sister-in-law.
I hope so, because this is just crazy why she's acting like this.
Update 2. Thank you, everyone, for your words of encouragement. Here, I thought blocking my sister-in-law was going to give me some peace. Well, I thought wrong. She came to my house today with Sabrina, demanding I hear them out.
That's crazy to do. Just show up and be like, listen, we need to talk, with the ex. Girl, what is your issue? What are you trying to get out of this? I don't understand.
Honestly, I'm like, all right, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to the kitchen. I'm getting a big glass. I'm filling it up with water. I'm opening the door. I'm splashing the water. And I'm closing the door.
That's a good comeback.
I open the door, and she tries to push past me to get in. And I just tell her they can say whatever they want from where they're standing. Sabrina starts with a sappy story that she didn't want to hurt me, but as a woman herself, she couldn't live with the guilt of sleeping with my husband and sneaking behind my back. Wow, they are really just trying to break up your relationship.
That's crazy.
Oh my God. I'm speechless. But I learned my lesson and didn't for a second doubt my husband. As my mama always said, fool me once, shame on you, and fool me twice, well, shame on me. So I'm like, you know what? Get in here. My husband isn't home. He went to the gym with a friend. I call him and tell him his sister is at our house with Sabrina and that I invited them in and we're waiting for him. Sabrina tries to show me the proof. I tell her she can show me in a bit when my husband gets home. She tries to tell me he would deny it and I should just listen to her. I tell her I made that mistake last week and let you two pester my husband. And what better way to put everything on the table than having all parties involved talk and share everything together? And by the way, I want all of you party people to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform, like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, get access to all of our episodes. And there's just a little bit left here. So my husband gets home. His gym is close, so it takes him about 5 minutes. And let me tell you, Sabrina comes up with a sob story telling my husband it was better to come clean, and sister-in-law just saying she would always back Sabrina and my husband. Sabrina shows me the text, and my husband has had enough and asks to text the number and gives me his phone. She goes, that's not necessary. I say, you know what, better yet, call the number on the message thread. She gets up and takes sister-in-law with her. My husband is currently on the phone with his mom telling her what happened while I type this update. Well, I think they figured out they can't get their way. And that's the end of that story.
Wow.
So not only, it was just a message thread to some random number.
Yeah,
They're
he's
like,
like,
yeah,
that's not even me.
Call the number. They're like, no, we don't have to do that. It's just his.
Like, what? Why would they do that?
I'm gonna go.
No, guys, it's him. We don't
Wow.
have to prove it.
Maybe
Like,
maybe sister-in-law and Sabrina should just date. They sound like a perfect match for each other.
the fact that like his sister and the ex are like BFFs and they want to ruin the marriage that he's in, that he's obviously happy and feels like fulfilled and secure and everything. He just wants to break them up, or she wants to break them up for what? Like, then she could be with him. Like, he's obviously gonna be miserable as he was with you, you know? So it's like, let him go, girl.
Yeah, you guys had a
Like,
messy breakup.
yeah, just let it go. Sometimes you just gotta be done.
Yeah, you're still being a mess right now. It's still a mess.
Exactly.
I failed to keep my promise to my nephew, and it made my brother furious.
Was it a pinky promise or a regular promise? Because there is a difference.
A couple of weeks ago was my nephew Sam's 10th birthday. I love Sam so much, I will probably not be lucky enough to have my own son, so I'm incredibly grateful that I get to be a part of his life. Being his aunt means more to me than I can explain. Unfortunately, I don't have a great relationship with my older brother. By the way, this comes from LiveSet5847, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, he did everything the right way. Good grades, good school, good job, good wife. I have always been jealous of how easily being normal seems to come to him. I did not do well in school, got in a lot of trouble, didn't finish college, and picked a long line of terrible boyfriends. Basically, I made almost every wrong choice you could make. Suffice to say, he and I are not on the same page. He doesn't take me seriously. The one thing he does appreciate about me is that I can bake. He asked if I could make cupcakes for Sam's birthday in a Spider-Man theme. This kid is I like this kid. This kid's got good taste. Of course, I said yes. Edited to add that Sam did not know about the cupcakes. They were meant to be a surprise. Spider-Man is just his favorite superhero. Then I got laid off. I didn't do anything wrong. I was simply the last person hired. I was devastated. Instead of baking the cupcakes, I ended up drinking with my roommates. It felt like just another failure in a long line of stupid decisions. I still wanted to do something, though. I went to the grocery store and bought cupcakes from 2 different stores, which was exhausting because I had to take the bus. It wasn't easy, but it felt important. Thank God it's graduation season, so there were at least some cupcakes available. When I arrived at the party, I told my brother up front what had happened and apologized immediately. He responded with, "You've got to be effing kidding me." He was furious. I apologized over and over again. I never once made an excuse. It was entirely my fault. He told me I shouldn't have even come and that the cupcakes were the only reason he had invited me.
Ooh.
What?
Yikes.
That's so mean. I felt awful and left without even seeing Sam. While I was home on the bus ride, my mom called me. She asked why I would be such an airhead and show up without the one thing I was invited for. This is so sad.
Yeah, what?
She said she thought she had raised me smarter than that and then followed it with, "Well, I guess not," and an ugly little laugh at the end. I fully accept that I'm 10,000% responsible for not having the Spider-Man cupcakes, but I also feel like I did my best to try to make up for it by getting whatever cupcakes I could find. I didn't show up empty-handed, and I didn't put it on anyone else to fix the problem. I genuinely tried. Am I wrong, and was it the wrong thing to do? And the judgment from Reddit is that everyone sucks. Top relevant comment says, did you tell Sam that you're making cupcakes and what theme is it? Did he know about the party? You're the a-hole questions. Hi, I just want to correct one thing, but I'm not arguing. I didn't tell Sam it was going to be a special surprise for him. He wasn't expecting the Spider-Man cupcakes. That's just his favorite superhero. Sam didn't know I was making the cupcakes. I took the toppers off the cupcakes. They were all black, white, and yellow, though. I don't understand why you're making things up that didn't happen. He didn't ask for a Spider-Man theme. He didn't know he was having a party to begin with. Not mapped out says not the a-hole for the question that you asked for judgment on, which is if you are the a-hole for showing up without the cupcakes. Given that he didn't even know he was getting Spider-Man cupcakes and he got cupcakes in the end, I don't think you're the a-hole for showing up. You said this was a few weeks ago. Has anyone in your family reached out or said anything about you being laid off? Do they care? My dad did, says OP, because he saw there was news about layoffs at my company, but no one else has said anything. They might not know. I don't think they look at the same news my dad does. Not mapped out says, did he tell anyone else or at least ask you how you were dealing with it? OP responds, I don't know if he told anyone, but no one asked how I was dealing with it. He asked me if I had gotten a new job yet. I think a week has passed. And I said, no, not yet. He asked me, well, why the heck not? I said, 'cause it's only been a week. He said if he lost his job, he would have been pounding the pavement from morning until night and knocking on every door downtown until someone would sit down with me to go over his resume. I told him that's not really how things work anymore, but that I had already applied for a lot of jobs. And he asked, well, why am I sitting at home when I should be busier than ever? And I lost my job the day before. Blue Moon commenter says, your family's awful, but I'm more concerned that you couldn't control your desire to drink enough to fulfill your promise. You may need to consider you have a drinking problem that is far bigger than cupcakes. Your family is still awful, but my guess is that this isn't the first time substances have been an issue with you and them. OP says you are correct. It is not the first time substances have been a problem with me and them. When I was in high school, I got wasted at a party and had to call my dad to come get me. It was 2 a.m. He was very tired, and we had a minor accident on the way back to the house. He was very proud of that car because it was the first he bought new and paid off. And then in college, I participated in the end-of-year campus party. I made a poor decision to wear new heels and drink and slipped on some stairs, broke my ankle, and needed them to come get me earlier than expected. I'm
Ow.
sorry.
I feel that.
You have two instances where, one, you're in high school, drank at a party, asked your dad to come get you, which is just like you didn't get arrested. You didn't overdrink and vomit in some car. You asked your dad to come pick you up because you didn't feel safe or for whatever reason, felt safer asking him. He gets into an accident. And then the second time is because you were at a party, you were wearing, honestly, like, regardless of whether or not you were drinking, you could have broken your ankle wearing heels.
That is true.
So
going downstairs,
yeah,
it's hard.
It's hard. So, like, those are two, like, truly things that could happen to anyone. Not mapped out says, how old are you? These things are annoying in the moment, sure, but driving a kid home from a party is pretty normal. How much do you drink? OP says, I'm 31. I drink occasionally. I don't get wasted very often anymore. I had my fill of that when I was in college. Not mapped out says, so I'm assuming you don't have a drinking problem? Where does this level of reaction come from? Have you dropped the ball like this for other things? OP says, yes. About 4 years ago, I was supposed to go on vacation with them to celebrate being out of the vid. I was not able to go because that company also had layoffs. I had to cancel last minute, and it made it all more expensive for them. They were really mad about that one. I had to save that money for rent, though. I was down a roommate. But they were right that at my age, I should have had savings. OP. Okay, now I'm like sure that OP is just made to feel super bad for everything.
Yeah.
Because wasn't your fault that you got laid off. Unless you weren't fired, you got laid off. You were, what, this was
4 years
4
ago.
years ago. So you're 31 now, so 27. You're 27-year-old, not every 27-year-old has a giant amount of savings, especially to go on a trip when they just got laid off.
Yeah.
A few years before that, I had to move back in with my mom and dad because of a bad situation I had with a guy. They had been getting ready to convert my room to the grandkid hotel, and that stopped them for a year, which ended with it just never happening because of the timing of the vid. I did not finish college, and that was probably the worst thing I chose to do to them. I was failing, and I just wasn't good enough to balance both, so I ended up dropping out. I hoped I'd go back, but I wasn't passionate about anything, and it's too expensive to not know why I'm there. About living situation. My living situation is stable. I've lived with mostly the same people for nearly 7 years. The reason I mentioned the bus is because carrying the cupcakes on the bus was difficult because they took up a lot of room. That's all. And there is an update. I am sorry that you might not be able to have a relationship with your nephew because of this, but I do think that you should limit contact to no contact with your family.
Yeah, it just seems like they're getting mad at things that like are out of your control, and it's like I understand I put myself in this situation, but I didn't know like this was going to happen, or whatever like that. My intention was not to like cause you guys like disarray, so I feel like they're not getting that.
6 months later, last week my family got together for Thanksgiving, and I surprised my nephew by bringing him a small batch of Spider-Man cupcakes, and he was over the moon. My brother thanked me for it, so that was nice. My mom said, "Better late than never, I guess." Shut up. And she and my dad laughed together. I also baked a pie to bring, but I ended up dropping it.
OP, your luck is crazy.
OP.
I brought a pie, but I dropped it.
For the first time in my life, I stood up for myself against them, and I told them that it was really hurtful that they can't ever just be supportive. That post made me reflect on all the ways over the years they just haven't taken me seriously, or have ignored my small wins because I don't get the big ones like my brother. They argued with me, and then probably the best thing ever happened. My sister-in-law stood up for me. She said that ever since she's been a part of this family, she's seen the way they talk to me and about me and laugh at me behind my back and treat me like someone else's daughter. She said they've been doing it for years. Okay, yes, props to sister-in-law, but to be OP and be like, "Oh, wait, so you guys are laughing about me behind my back too?"
Yeah, I know. That line, I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
I have been a part of ever since I've been a part of this family. You guys have been saying that OP is ugly and is the worst, and you laugh at her behind her back and you say she smells, and yes, she smells, but
wait, what?
Wait, you said what? Huh? No, that's not what you said. They tried to pull that she knows it's out of love, and I told them that I don't feel loved by them and never have, and brought up that she said the only reason I was ever invited to the party was for the cupcakes. By the way, you're invited to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I just think that I'm glad that sister-in-law
Yeah.
stood up.
Yeah.
I think you deserved that, OP. I think that makes, because I feel like maybe since they've all been like, a part of your life, like, but the negative part of your life, it's kind of like that's all you've seen. And so for someone outside of the family to be like, ever since I've been here, you guys treat her like crap. That's like so validating.
So validating.
And it's like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, great. Okay, so my luck just sucks.
Well, also just this whole time, I mean, in terms of how OP has written this story, all of it has been, I deserved that. Oh yeah, they were mean to me, but I deserved it.
Yeah, it was very like, well, I did this, but they were right to act this way.
Yeah.
They were right to react this way. And it's like, but really, were they though?
And now the sister-in-law saying, that's crazy.
Yeah. Let's go, sissy.
Mom tried to say that wasn't true, but my sister-in-law stopped her and said that's exactly what she said. My mom and dad were quiet for a little bit, and then my dad said he didn't realize how sensitive I am, and they'll try to do better. I was so happy.
Sorry, that is just such. My ex used to pull that. Be like, he would like literally like insult me, and then I'd be like, I don't like when you say that. And he's like, oh, you're so sensitive, and it's like, you just said that I was stupid. I was done. Like, this is like a dumb way to react to this, or this is like, this and that and the other thing. And it's like, what you said was hurtful.
Yeah.
And so I'm hurt. And then you're like, oh, you're so sensitive. Like, no, you're saying hurtful things to me. If someone said it to you, you would also react the way that I'm acting. So don't gaslight me. Oh, it's going to get me. I'm going to get there.
I'm going to get there. Yes, I thanked my sister-in-law so much, and we have been texting a ton. I didn't realize she liked me. I think 2026 is going to be my year. This is so sad. And I am excited. My biggest hope is to find a job that helps me save money so that I can get my own place by 2028. Merry holidays, everyone. Relevant comments. Get on the Queen says, I thought your brother was the one who said the cupcakes were the only reason you were invited. Did your sister-in-law stand up to your brother as well? OP says they both did. And I guess I don't know if she said anything to him. Busy Shrew says, good for you, sister-in-law, and good for OP. I like your sister-in-law a lot. She's smart. She sees what's really going on and is realizing that her in-laws will replicate this toxicity with her children in a heartbeat if she lets them. Edit to add, my own observation as someone with a few years on me is that so often families that have this type of toxic behavior repeat it in future generations. So OP's parents are used to a dynamic where they have a golden child and get to berate, insult, and demean the other one. Guess what's gonna happen if a second grandchild arrives? I bet on history repeating itself and the first one getting all the praise and the second one all the scolding. It's sickening. So glad to see sister-in-law standing up. I really hope she ripped a strip off her jackbutt of a husband too. OP, your parents sound like effing awful people. Stick to your sister-in-law. Dog Laughing says, being hurt by cupcakes are the only reason you were invited is not on you being sensitive. It's a step in the right direction, but your feelings are not the problem here. Expert Strategy says, and they still didn't take responsibility by saying they're wrong. Just saying you're sensitive, that's bull. Way to go, sister-in-law. Content Shower says, right? That stood way out to me. OP, be prepared for them to backslide and maybe some therapy to help you navigate this terrible dynamic your family has. And that's the end of that story. But yeah, OP, I definitely think therapy. I also think space.
Yeah, I would say space.
Massive amounts of space.
Like keep in touch with the sister-in-law, obviously.
Well,
you know, and I'm
yeah.
sure then you would also be able to see the nephew.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, because that way you don't have to go through your brother-in-law or your parents or anything. You can just go directly, keep in contact with your sister and say, hey, I'd love to see the kids. Or Sam. My father said I ruined Christmas because I had a panic attack.
Jingle HE double hockey sticks.
I, 34 female, have a diagnosed anxiety disorder where I have severe anxiety and panic attacks. I live in a northern state with my husband, 34 male, and 2 kids, 1 male and 7 female. My father and stepmom are retired nurses who live in a southern state, and my grandparents live in Florida. The plan was to spend a week in Florida and on our way home, stop at my dad's for a few days as the midway point to our house. By the way, this comes from Charming Football 271. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, for Christmas this year, we drove my new car from our state to Florida, and everything was exciting. We got to Florida a day ahead of schedule where, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, my dad and stepmom were going to come to my grandparents to spend Christmas with their grandkids. Since we got to Florida 2 days before Christmas Eve, we spent 1 day at the beach and had a wonderful time. On Christmas Eve morning, my husband decided to go to the store to get milk for our son before the stores closed early, and my car wouldn't start. It would not turn over or anything. I know a fair amount about cars from my stepdad, who taught me how to change my tires, oil, and replace easy parts like belts and plugs. So I figured the issue was either my starter or something electrical. I started to panic, as I'm a teacher, and I started to mentally picture that I would be stuck in Florida and not be back for work, and I started to panic. My husband and grandparents know when I have severe panic attacks, it's best to let me walk away and have space to clear my head, and not force me to come back and engage until I'm mentally ready to do so. So I walked and sat at the lake and cried and had my panic attack, and not too long after getting there, my stepmom and dad showed up, and my stepmom was kind and told me she understood and to take my time. But dad, however, was not so kind. Dad, you need to get your crap together and stop acting like this. Me, Dad, I just need to pull myself together because this is causing a huge issue financially and even time-wise. Like, how are we going to get home as all shops are closed for the next 3 days? Dad, well, you need to go back on meds or go talk to your therapist because this is not how we behave. Your husband is the car being towed to a shop who will look at it when they open.
So we're going back to Grandma and Grandpa's house now since you're punishing your children and ruined the holiday.
I don't argue and just go back since my husband has it covered. And since I was mentally exhausted, I just laid in my and my husband's room and fell asleep. The next morning was Christmas, and despite the unknown about what was wrong with my car, I sat there and enjoyed the holidays with my kids, watching them open presents from Santa and my grandparents. Prior to my dad coming to their house, I tried FaceTiming my mom to say Happy Christmas, but my mom told me that she and my stepdad were on their way to bury his mom who just passed away of cancer the day prior, so she'll FaceTime me later. Soon after, my dad and stepmom show up, and the kids open gifts from them, and we chat for a little. And even though I'm still high on my anxiety, where I'm still super anxious and unable to truly be happy until I know what was wrong with my car, as well as how much it will cost me to fix, later that day, my grandparents' friends came over to do Christmas dinner, and I was sitting in one part of the house, watching and playing with the 1-year-old, while my husband kept an eye on our 7-year-old. My grandparents' friends approached me and talked to me, knowing what was going on, but they still gave me space, but still engaged me in conversation, understanding I was keeping my toddler from destroying my grandparents' house while they and my dad were cooking. The entire time I'm talking to anyone who approaches me, my dad and grandfather are outside cooking. Time passes and my dad comes in and out of the house, giving me side glances as he passes that I notice, but I ignore as I focus on my son who's running around. My mom finally FaceTimes me, and I sit with my kids on my lap as we talk to my mom and stepdad, and my dad is standing there in the doorway just staring at me. It's just like there's
Dad, I'm scary dad. Give me your best scary dad.
I can't do it. I'll never be a scary dad. Dang.
Hey, Sophia, you follow your dreams. You can be a scary dad if you want.
Thanks, Vincent. That's all I ever wanted.
I believe in you.
Oh.
I continue to ignore him as we talk to my mom, who talks about the burial and what happened, and then asks the kids about Christmas. After the kids were done, my mom asked me if my anxiety is high today, as she can see it on my face. And I vented about my car, and she told me that things will work out and offered different things we can do. My mom listened, and it made me feel better. My entire call with my mom lasted no more than 10 minutes. Christmas dinner comes, and when my anxiety is high, I cannot eat or I get sick, so I focus on making sure my kids are fed and bathed, etc. After my grandparents' friends leave, my dad finally comes up to me and shakes his head as he looks at me. Dad, you need to get your anxiety under control. Me. I'm sorry? Dad, you need to get on meds and get help, but this is not working. You were so rude and ignored everyone. I didn't reply as I felt an anxiety attack building because I thought I was talking to people and I thought I was not acting moody. I just got up and went into my and my husband's room and had my anxiety attack. I went into full flight mode and wanted to leave. I cried to my husband that I wanted to call an Uber and have them bring me to an airport to fly home, as I can't do anything right when I was watching my kids and still talking to people, but apparently I must have been living in some altered reality where it never happened.
I'm sorry that, and this is something that OP's had for a long time.
Yeah.
And, like, the parents, it doesn't sound like your dad's really well equipped to handle it.
No, it doesn't sound like he wants to learn, what you need. Whereas your mom seems like pretty understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, your dad just wants to make it worse.
Well, I see this with sometimes just like they just want it to go away.
Yeah.
And I understand the whole, like, from his point of view, like, oh, you're so stressed about this thing that, like, you can't do anything. Like, some people can be like, oh, I can't do anything about this thing right now, therefore I'm not going to stress about it.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody.
No.
And your dad needs to be able to know, like, okay, the way you handle that is different.
Yeah. Through the door, while I was having my anxiety attack, I could hear my dad talking about me to my grandmother, who was not engaging in the conversation as well as in front of my 7-year-old. Dad, I have seen this at the mental hospitals all the time when I was a nurse. It's all an act for attention. She was all fine to talk to her mother, but not to talk to anyone else. She's choosing who to talk to, and this is all an act.
She needs mental help, and it's gonna harm her kids. They're gonna be mentally messed up because of her.
I sat in our room crying while my husband went to deal with my dad, and I don't know the full conversation, but what my husband told me as a summary is that he told my dad that he should not have said that, but should have asked if I'm okay and not berate me. And my dad point blank told my husband that until I apologize to the people I wronged, I'm not welcome at his house. My stepmom stopped in our room before leaving and told me she sees how I feel and told me my dad doesn't mean what he says and let him cool down and he'll see how he was wrong. And he'll call me in a few days and told me not to reach out until he does, which I agreed, as when he used to get mad at my brother and I as kids, he would usually reach out 2 days later to talk it out. Fast forward to New Year's Eve. My car finally got fixed that day. Long story with the car, but I had squirrels using my car's engine compartment as storage for pine cones.
I've had that happen before.
What?
I used to. Sometimes like the lining on wires is also really tasty to rodents. So I had squirrels and rabbits coming in, and it would like clip my starter wire. They did it 3 times. I thought someone was
No.
messing with me.
No.
No, it's real. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's just their little pine cone compartment.
Mhm.
And it caused fuses to melt into the fuse box, which in turn caused my car to not start. Thankfully, insurance covered it all, and at this point, I was over the whole vacation, as we were less than 4 days before when we needed to be home. And I've not heard from my dad, so I said, let's go home. I booked a hotel for the next night in a neighboring state to ours, hoping we would be able to stop and stay with my dad, as it's the midpoint. It was 6 days since the whole situation with my dad, and I've not heard anything. So as we drove home, my husband texted my dad, telling him we were heading home as the car is finally fixed, and asked if we were welcome to stay the night before heading home. And my dad texted back, "You and the kids are, but your wife's not until she apologizes for ruining Christmas to me." My husband did not reply and reassured me that I didn't ruin Christmas, and he started it and should not have. So we decided to drive past his house and drive to the following state to a hotel. We left the next morning, and I was courteous to my family, as I was raised to keep my family in the loop when we were traveling, and texted my family text chain we've had going since my grandma got a smartphone. Hey, we're leaving town, heading to the other town. My in-laws, stepmom, and grandparents all said, okay, drive safe. My dad separately texted me, "I don't care. When you get home and want to be an adult and have an adult conversation about how you ruined Christmas, we'll do so over the phone, not texting like a child."
Also, Dad, you're saying that over text.
Yeah, literally, you're texting her.
What?
And also, like, I feel like he's imagining like a little baby. I'm like, what babies are texting?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Get
Text like an adult, man.
Yeah. Get out of here, Dad. What the heck?
So I'm here still not calling my dad, but I want to know, am I the a-hole for ruining Christmas? And there is an update, but what do you say, Vincent?
Reacting the way you do, and like if he can't handle that, it sounds like something triggered
Yeah.
your dad,
Yeah.
and that is not your fault. That's his fault, and he needs to do some work on that.
I feel like maybe the best way to handle him is working on every time you're dealing with anxiety and stuff and he is just being rude, just kind of responding as neutrally as possible. If he says, "You're ruining Christmas," and say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way."
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. Oh, like, you need to grow up. Sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry that your Christmas is being ruined.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you're not having a good Christmas.
Yeah.
Just like put it all back on him. Like every time he's like, "You did this." Oh, I'm sorry that
I'm
I
sorry
don't know.
that you feel like I was being rude to you.
Yeah. Just flip it, and don't even engage in the conversation. Literally, just be like, "Oh, sorry you're feeling that. Oh, sorry that's happening to you."
Oh.
Just don't even acknowledge you have any part in this, because you don't. He is going through a lot of emotions, and is letting your individual struggles that you are not putting on other people to affect him so deeply. So
Is someone having some big feelings?
yeah, really
Yeah.
gentle parent him.
Yeah.
Update: my dad never acted like this towards me before, nor has he seen my anxiety attacks before. He lives in a world of denial. Mental health isn't a thing, and we suppress our emotions and bury it down and move on. My dad is a retired travel nurse for mentally disabled people, So his denial of mental health and his attitude makes me sad for any of his patients. If this is how he treats me when I'm having an anxiety attack, my dad and my mom divorced when I was 3, and my dad was more of a 2 weekends a month dad. And I remember calling him when I was younger, begging to stay with him when my mom was emotionally and psychologically harmful towards me. And my dad would give me every and any excuse to not take me in. And in a way, he only wanted to be a parent when it was his time, but not to actually be a parent. Yes, I have tried different anxiety meds. You name it, I've been on it. And they had such severe side effects on me to the point where I was hospitalized, and meds are not for me. My therapist has given me more help than any medication ever will, and that's my opinion. Yes, I have a therapist, 13 years and counting, from my self-absorbed person mother. They even said meds are not for everyone, and they have given me many coping mechanisms that help more when I have the time to do them. And yes, walking away from whatever is triggering an episode is a healthy way to deal rather than standing there and suffering. As of today, I have not heard anything, and I'm okay with that. I do not plan to contact him since, as it was pointed out by my husband, my dad is a giant child, and I don't owe him any apology. But he owes me one for knowingly attacking me and making everything worse just for him to victimize himself. We normally never talk a lot. It was like a once in a month thing to check in, and I'm used to not talking to him, and I'll keep it that way. I did call my therapist when I got home and told them what happened, and they agreed that my dad's swooping in before I got a chance to use any of my coping mechanisms in the end is what made things worse. Yeah, so Opie didn't even have the chance to self-soothe in a way, you know?
Yeah, he just kind of hopped on you at the beach and was like, "You're ruining stuff."
They called it targeted victimization, where my dad intentionally made it worse and poked and pushed so he could act like he was a victim, even though he was intentionally putting me in more danger and causing more damage. Honestly, though, I'm sure if I was able to walk away and use my coping mechanisms to calm and rationalize things, this whole story would have ended differently, but that didn't happen. I did send his nasty text to my grandmother, and she also apologized for what my dad said to me, and she said parents will never hate their children, and he'll come around once he realizes what he has done and what he's lost, though I know she's disappointed in him. So I'm going to accept who my dad is, but I'm not taking the step to contact him, and I'm okay with never talking to him. It's his loss, not mine. And there is a second update. Any thoughts?
It's good that you sent it to your grandma.
Yeah, and that she's on your side.
Yeah, she's backing you up. This isn't on you.
No. I like, it's just constantly reminding yourself that your dad has his own issues that he's dealing with, that he clearly does not want to go to a therapist or doctor for because he doesn't believe in that.
Even though he works in that system.
Yeah, which is crazy. But you are, working through this. You are getting help for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only thing that matters, is that you are working on improving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad is not.
Yeah. Good for you.
Update. So it's been almost a year since this whole ordeal, and I have some updates, but nothing exciting. One, has my father reached out to me to apologize or move on? Nope. Complete silence. In February, I found out I was pregnant with my final baby and didn't announce it until June when I was 19 weeks to ensure everything was okay. I didn't feel the need to let my dad know because he never reached out at this point. And after I posted, I got a message from my stepmother on my dad's behalf. She tried to tell me that I should have told my dad that I was pregnant again before I announced it, and he has a right to know. I clapped back and told her my dad does not get to pick and choose to be in and out of my kids' lives and only play victim because he thinks he's entitled to my kids. Since then, my dad sent a birthday present to my oldest, but never called or texted her. Never sent a card to my 2-year-old when his birthday rolled around, so he either forgot or truly didn't care about my son. During this time, my bonus dad got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and was taking a bad turn, so I was driving out to see him and help my mom every other day. That's so devastating because he just lost his mom.
Yeah.
And then, to have cancer as well.
Yeah, that's a rough, gosh. but also your dad doesn't have any right. He's like, I have a right to know. It's like,
No, he doesn't.
you kind of threw that away when you didn't treat me well.
And when you haven't tried to
Support me.
apologize in a year.
Yeah, there's been
Radio silence.
no support system from your father at this point.
Nope. I did find out he was in town for a week while I was driving back and forth, but I only found out from my brother, who I was distanced from prior to my dad deciding to be a self-absorbed man-child. My brother, we hashed out our differences and found out everything we were upset about at the other was because my dad was feeding us lies about the other to make us mad and hate on each other.
Wait, what?
What?
Yo.
Huh? Oh, wow, your dad really sucks.
So
yeah.
He's not
No contact.
He's not only like he's manipulative.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No contact. He was thriving on us hating one another, and he was forcing this wedge to create more chaos. He never reached out to talk. Stepmom reached out last minute saying she and dad were in town if I wanted to hash things out, and I never responded. In August, my bonus dad passed away of cancer. Suddenly, and I was willing to reach out to my dad because the loss unalived me. He has me blocked. So since then, my last baby was born, and I realized all my anxiety and stress was all caused by my dad and the drama he brought with him. So I stopped caring about his opinion and stopped trying. By the way, you should never stop trying to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a teeny bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think it's interesting that once, like, there's all these issues with anxiety,
Yeah.
and then once this one thing was cut out, your father, it sounds like it got a lot better.
Yeah.
And especially like hearing that he's been manipulating and lying to your brother as well. It sounds like he may be the source of all of this.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like from developmental up.
Well, it sounds also like every time that you try to work through this and work on it, he, or at least when he's around, has sabotaged that. So even as you try to improve, he works against that.
Yeah, he sabotages or doubles down.
Yeah. I finally realized that people who value and love me and my kids will treat us with kindness and love and not manipulate and isolate. So since this, I have been less stressed and my anxiety is non-existent. And every now and then I'll see my dad post pictures of him with my brother, and my brother will tell me it's to try to bait me and piss me off. But I've reached the point that I just don't care because my kids mean the world to me. And if anything, my bonus dad was more of a father to me than my own baby juice donor. And I'm sad that I lost the one person who truly loved me. And I'm left with a baby juice donor who values their pride over being an actual dad who loves no matter what and support their child even if they are in a crisis. As of now, I did talk to my grandma and found out my dad has been acting like everything was chill between us. I told my grandma the correct information. She apologized, but said he's just stubborn, and I guess she called him out, and he gave her some sob story about how he misses me and wants to talk to me. And I told my grandma, I'm blocked, so if that's even true, he can reach out, but we all know he won't. So my dad's playing victim while he's being a self-absorbed a-hole. And that is the end of that story, but yeah.
My father-in-law dismissed my boundaries, and no one seems to care except me.
Aw, boo-hoo.
I've been dying to talk about the situation in general. I don't have many friends, and even then, I hate to burden family with the BS that suddenly has been attached to me. This is a long story, so I'll try to summarize basic context for the sake of brevity and time. I'm a woman in my mid-20s in the very rainy PNW. I married my high school sweetheart. Just last year, in fact. I moved out to a very rural mountain town with my partner. I followed him to a new position. His father owns the business, half with his father-in-law's brother. After several months of fruitless job searches, father-in-law needed a housekeeper and I still needed a job. I trust you can connect the dots. By the way, this comes from Fiji Chain on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So for the sake of privacy, I will not say what state or town, as I am upset with the situation, but do not want to cause any harm harm to the business. I apologize in advance. I am autistic and haven't really had anyone to talk to about this other than my close family and one other friend. In the beginning, it was just bathrooms. We had clear set boundaries that I was more than happy with and a light schedule that matched the amount of work given. As the first year progresses, I bring us from a 3-star in cleanliness to a near perfect 5. It's mentioned by nearly every guest and often in happy reviews. I get engaged and father-in-law starts acting up in weird ways, making subtle jabs of frustration about certain employees, pulling me off my job to add projects to my itinerary, pulling maintenance away from their work consistently, micromanaging me after previously telling me to tell him to F off if he was overdoing it, and then being upset when I didn't do my usual amount of work to the absolute best quality when consistently distracting me and pulling me away from work. I do my best to ignore it. I bring it up to his son and my manager. We insisted I have a different manager to keep a work balance. I was totally fine with this. They tell me I'm doing great. He's just over managing because he's retiring, etc., etc. So I do what I can to move on. As months go by, the list gets longer and longer and longer. The maintenance requests I put in are usually going unanswered. Trying to order supplies for the upkeep of a now large clubhouse, 2 Airbnbs, several bathrooms, employee spaces, 2 laundry rooms, and whatever awful mold they leave behind for me to deal with after insisting on an employee lunch that they promise we will handle. The wedding week comes and I'm actively preparing to be wed to this man's son, and he tries to get me to go clean his mouse-infested RV because he's just so busy. This was where the cracks really began sinking in. I have been faithful and loving to this man's son since I was 15. I was marrying him in less than 7 days, but he's really trying to get me to agree to doing this for him. The man had a whole year to figure this out, and the week before is when he decides to handle it and give it to the bride? Absolutely not. Around this time, I had begun to put in serious boundaries. I love him, but needed to start putting myself first. I was so tired from helping clean the business as the only housekeeper, save for a teen I got help with on certain days that only did 2 bathrooms before going home, which is fine. It's exactly what we hired him for. And planning a wedding that I was burning the candle at both ends and then lighting another candle, then lighting the other end of that candle, and so on.
Oh.
I start taking this job even more seriously than before. After all, if I'm going to skip my honeymoon for the family business, surely I should put as much into it as I can to really show how much it means to me. Well, they start mentioning putting me on salary, which renews my hope, and I start really knuckling down. Ooh, so they're like putting the carrot in front of you. Hey, look, salary. I'm bringing in new products for the store, researching local hospitality and hiking trails, pricing out furniture for outdoor areas, and doing rate comparisons. I did that despite all this crap. I really do love this place. Winter comes and goes. Spring hits and we are on the ground running. It is work constantly. No time to rest. No time to stop. Going. Adjusting as much as I can when I can, except now. I am finding out after months of mentioning certain projects/concerns that customers are having complaints. I start looking at the project list I had made them and almost nothing had been done.
Oh my
so
God.
now the projects were problems and the concerns were even bigger problems.
Oh my gosh. She's literally the only one doing any work at this company, it sounds like.
Sounds like she's on top of everything.
Yeah.
It's hard whenever you're on top of everything, but you can't be on top of other people doing the things they're supposed to do.
Right. Like this is like, it's a team effort, you know? And she's doing as much as she can, doing all these little things. She should be the manager,
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if I was a dad and I had 2 cents in my brain, I'd be like, yeah, she should be manager.
Be like, someone's got to get the work done.
Exactly.
Those customer complaints for Airbnbs and stuff like that, those are important.
Those are so important.
It works with like the trust and everything that new customers need to book the places.
Yes. Exactly. So now the projects were bigger problems, like sewer pipes backing up, a broken vacuum that no one can fix. We aren't appliance repair techs, several janky coin wash machines that jam, among other things, strange sewer smell in certain areas of the property, or even the time they forgot to close the water pipe to a washer and flooded a bathroom 3 separate times. The first 2 times it happened when housekeeping had already cleaned / when it was done. The third time was when I saw it in action when a customer decided, heaven forbid, clean their whitey tidies. Not only am I fielding guest complaints, concerns, and general forest questions, but now I am doing basic plumbing, inspection ducts, and filters assisting guests when hosting events, but also trying to make education-driven adjustments, such as having a reading corner of the store where kids can learn about the local environment and water table. All the managers decided we wanted a fish tank to attract customers and kids to the back of the store more. There, we have books for the kids, and the parents got a look at our coolers with more adult items. While this is one of the main examples, it's not only one. See, she's thinking ahead. Not only is she's like, okay, I am doing this because this is what needs to be done. I'm doing this because this will then drive more business.
She's thinking like a good employee, a good manager.
Okay.
What?
OP, this is what you got to do now. You need to mention what business this is, and everyone that is watching will then go to that business, write a review about how great you are. Yeah, my dog was stuck in the tree and she helped get it out.
There you go.
OP helped clean do this. OP gave me great. You just comment about you and you get to become the manager.
Another route you could do is actually talking to whoever the current manager is. And because maybe she can rather than.
I just think she needs to be a manager.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I wonder if she can like some places have managers of different things. So I wonder if she can do something like that where she talks to the guy and is like, hey, I'm setting out these tasks, but they're not really getting done. I would like to stay on top of these people and make sure that they're getting these things done. I think that would be a great task manager position.
Looking into teen club ideas, have an espresso stand on property, a smoking area to reduce complaints/concerns, etc. And God help the goldfish. From almost a full year from January to September, it was non-stop jokes about it being ugly. If you know the hobby, you know bacteria blooms happen in the beginning stages of where an ecosystem is starting, then being pointless, then a drain, then bait for local fishermen. All while this is happening, my list is getting longer and longer. Father-in-law wants me to learn the reservation system too. They want me to take the after hours phone. I told him no, it was causing me panic attacks. I started doing 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. shifts. There's literally no other way to do the nearly 50 tasks they want me to manage without having more time. Less energy, more time. I was doing that for several weeks before I got told to stop. I made a list of everything, brought it to my manager. I explained I can't do all of this without the team or the time. She tells me I'm doing great. Don't worry and keep doing what I can. She would work the laundry, I would get the place clean, and eventually I'd get a lunch break. My health is deteriorating. I'm getting injured at work. My vision randomly blacking out on multiple occasions.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I start a pretty deep depression from all the exhaustion and the constant jokes at expense of my ideas, work, or experience. Yeah.
Oh my
It
goodness.
gets a little worse after this. It sounds like on top of the autism, you want to do you have this one layer of disability of you want to make sure everything is done correctly, which is for this job, you're doing great.
Absolutely.
But it's coming to a point of you're breaking yourself because of it. Because your team is not helping you out and you feel obligated to take care of that because your team's not doing that.
Right. And it's so nice that you care so much about this place. You really do want it to be a good job. But I think you need to care more about yourself and really take care of yourself. And that includes, talking to these people about this stuff and setting some boundaries of hey, I can only work this amount of time. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a family business. Do you think you'd be able to do that? Talk to them as a family member and be hey, I'm having a really hard time in my personal life now because of how much work I have.
You could. I think that's a good point. It's if you're in the right family, they'd understand that.
Yeah.
But I think the manager's hey, don't worry about this. You're doing good. But OP she wants what's best for the company, but no one is doing it. What would be great is she was the manager and had an awesome team behind her that could execute all this stuff. That I think would be perfect for OP.
Absolutely.
It gets worse. And then my great grandma passed and I had to go for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks prior, a new manager had been hired and was doing some consulting for father-in-law. In those 2 weeks, a new manager had came on and began a very aggressive restructuring. I was told she was my manager now. To stop talking to maintenance entirely, only needed to use the board apparently. Don't hang out at the front desk. I would wait for my mail sometimes, or I would check in with my manager and look at the schedule. Other times I was actually taking a break for once. I said, okay, I'm told to be happy and supportive of the change to really help ease everyone in on this transition period. In those 2 weeks, everything's changed. Maintenance wasn't talking to anyone. Certain employees just up and left.
Oof.
My OG manager was let go, and father-in-law's joke picked up even more.
Ugh.
I'm called to a meeting with father-in-law and new manager, and I'm told it's just a quick one, nothing super important. One of these very serious boundaries I set with father-in-law was any meetings he would be conducting, his son had to be there. I didn't have anyone else there that could support me. I get to go to the meetings and he's just there. It's not just the new manager, it's both. And I tell him he needs to get his son the F in here immediately. Then I step outside. My husband gets there. He tells me not to worry, that his dad told him that they were just having a check-in meeting and shouldn't take long, which matters because I was in the middle of work when they called this important meeting. I go in. His father, with a smile on his face, explains to me that your salary will go through the end of this month. Then after that, we'll switch you to hourly. After that, we'll rent the B&B so we really won't need. And then the trailing off begins. My husband is processing and I ask, so essentially what you're saying is after X, I have no job? Yes, that'll be correct. My husband immediately is confused, telling father-in-law that that makes no sense. They had already discussed this previously. We have no other housekeepers. They let my assistant go same day. Father-in-law looks at him smiling and says, oh, don't worry. We already talked about it with maintenance. I always told myself if something like this happened that I would be a lady about it. I asked if there was anything else. I was told no and excused myself. I was so upset. My husband had to go finish the B&B I was cleaning while I walked 500 feet to the place where we live on property to go have a little mental B to myself. When husband returns, he tells me his dad has no idea how much you do and we just need to show him and he'll see this wasn't the right decision. Let's just say from several past experiences, I had my doubts, but this is my husband and I love him. So if this was what he wants, then fine. We go in the next day with nearly a 10-page document and a small half-page doc of my original responsibilities where he reads off half the front page, laughs it off, and sets it aside. Looks at me in the eyes and says, you know, believe it or not, before you got here, I ran this place myself, so I know what goes into it. First, he did not have the same amount of work when he started compared to what I had. But additionally, I didn't see why that should dismiss everything I do around the work. So I start asking if there was something seriously wrong with my work. As I had been told for weeks up until that point, I was doing great. And it was just an adjustment period. Well, I'm autistic and I effing hated the adjustment period. What did I do? I shut up and got over it. And then they said jump. I said, how high? Well, last November, the shower walls were disgusting. I told your manager, but I bet she didn't tell you because I had maintenance do it. Last November, we were out of the state a majority of the month. And then we had Thanksgiving. I warned them months in advance while I was out, someone would have to keep up with the bathrooms. It was at this point I realized we were arguing in circles. He made up his mind, and if he was citing a complaint from a year ago, then this clearly isn't about me. I tell him, I'm done here. And he starts getting upset until I look at him and say something along the lines of, I thought you saw something in me, before leaving in tears.
Aww.
Was that bratty? Sure, but ladies don't start fights. We finish them. However, that wasn't the finishing move I thought it was. As my father-in-law proceeds to chase me out of the office, yelling at me in front of other employees about how I just can't leave in the middle of a conversation, I do not take being chased by a shouting man lightly, even if this is my father-in-law. So I turned around and yelled at him and told him, leave me the F alone. Well, that was a surprise to him. I hate shouting. He backed off and I ran home. Ever since then, I've been avoiding this man and applying to jobs around my area. My Christmas wish was an actual return call after many applications. I can't leave my house without running into him. I go through town only for the occasional drive-through coffee or a very early morning grocery store run. Otherwise, I hide at home applying to jobs while he circles the property. Well, today, I got a gift from him and this was why I'm here. A Christmas card with some cash in it signed, your evil father-in-law, with his name underlined. And admittedly, I had to leave a family event to walk and breathe. This was all just a joke to him when I set boundaries with him and he trampled on them over and over. When he chased me out of the office, or when he told me a team of 4 men with power tools doing my job are just better, don't you agree? Despite me being only one person, does he think he can wipe that away with $200 and a grin? Just $200, dude? Come on.
Yeah, wow.
Come on. Yikes, but you can grin and wince at more stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to, and we're there with how many stories?
Countless.
Honestly.
Thousands.
We lost count.
Yeah, we're pumping out
We were
stories
numbering
every
them.
day, man.
Yeah, we were numbering them, and we lost count and stopped numbering. So
I mean, at that
I think
point.
it was 1,900 the last time.
Wow.
Yeah. But before we continue, will $200 make this all go away?
No, not at all. I mean, running and chasing, that's scary, man. That's scary. That's tough because I do see his joke. I feel like I know people that would make that kind of jokes like, your evil father-in-law, like that would be like his way of apologizing. But with how much it was like clearly affecting her and like hard for her, I think it definitely needs a bit more than that. Maybe more conversation. Like, I wonder what the fiance could do, or the husband. I think
the husband's at a point where he has to work there, or they don't have any income. So he's stuck too.
Yeah.
With his dad.
And he might have like a complicated relationship with his dad.
He
too,
probably
so
does.
Yeah.
I know this is long, and I appreciate the patience to anyone willing to read it. I just got done with a family lunch the other day where I was told I need to get past this and I need to work on it. He's going to be your father-in-law forever. What about your kids? Honestly, I feel like I'm going crazy. Am I really overreacting? Because of my autism and my ADHD, I can be sensitive sometimes, but I really thought this was more than the RSD. Would he be out of line to return his gift with a snickerdoodle in the shape of a wiener? It's literally my only idea right now. OP, whatever the Lord puts on your heart, I think that sounds like a fantastic
That's
idea.
really funny.
No, if this if this happened to anyone and they were not, praised for the amount of hard work they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not about your neurodivergency whatsoever.
Yeah, I get that. I think it, adds another level to it probably because of, sensitivity, but it doesn't totally discount it.
Yeah.
Like it definitely does affect work and stuff because like I have ADHD and it's like you can't, I would hold really high standards to myself with like schoolwork and stuff that I couldn't reach. And it was like, I was so hard on myself when I couldn't meet those like unrealistic standards. So I feel like that was definitely a part of it with this work, I'm sure. And then with everyone else's expectations towards you too, and then them not validating you for all that stuff, like that's definitely something to be accounted for. Those disabilities or differences like do affect the situation and it emphasizes the situation, but it doesn't at all mean that you were like in the wrong. It's like completely the opposite. Like I think they should be more sensitive to you and more accommodating to you with all that stuff. Yeah.
I've seen that story.
My friend and I planned a joint birthday, but she thinks I'm overshadowing her.
Well, maybe you should step up.
For context, I, 29 female, have always known my friend Elle, 22 female, to be a birthdayzilla. She's always taken her big day very seriously and gets very distressed at the thought of not having a big, glorious day all about her. It also happens to be 13 days before my birthday. By the way, this comes from Feathered Chef, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit.
Do it.
Go on. So here's the situation. Me and Louisa's sister-in-law, we were planning to surprise Elle on her birthday by showing up at her house with a basket full of presents, treats, drinks, and the works. We told each other what gifts we'd bought so that everything followed Elle's aesthetic. All good. Elle suggested that since our birthdays are so close, we should pick a day between them to go out for a joint celebration. So far, my only plans for my 30th were to have a family dinner with my mom and the tribe, followed by cocktails at my place, so I agreed. Happy for the extra thoughts. Plans were made to go for dinner, go shopping, visit our favorite crystal store for a fun workshop, which I promptly booked and paid a deposit for, and end with some drinks. Here's where I may have messed up. Foolishly, I invited my fiance and a 2-year-old to the dinner portion of the day. I checked with the girls first and they both agreed it was fine. However, later, Elle got in touch to set me straight. I was told the day out was actually Elle's big day, not a joint celebration. Now, I was ruining the vibe of her big girl's day by inviting my family to dinner. Whoa. Knowing what Elle is like with her birthday and not wanting it to turn into something nasty, I apologized for getting my wires crossed, told my fiance he was no longer invited, and adjusted my view of the day. Not minding at all since I already had birthday plans after all, and sister-in-law coincidentally DM'd me and let it slip that they were supposedly planning a surprise party for me. She also said that this year, but nothing got planned. So no problems, right? Wrong! The next day, I start getting a barrage of angry texts from Elle and sister-in-law. dozens of accusations, including but not limited to, I was trying to overshadow Elle with all my birthday plans, that I was an inconsiderate B who hadn't planned anything for Elle and didn't care that her dad had fell into eternal sleep, oh boy, and that I offered no compromise for the girls' day out, that I planned on stealing from Elle, that my gifts for Elle were too cheap, and that I said horrible, disgusting things about Elle and must be having one of my episodes. Honestly, I have no idea where most of it came from, and it was all really hard to follow. But anytime I asked for a clear explanation of the problem, I kept getting told to reread my messages and see for myself. They picked apart every flaw I had, even down to how absent I've been during my recent struggle with postnatal PTSD. I tried to explain my side and apologize for my confusion, but they were having none of it. I think it was the no compromise that confused me the most. I'd put so many plans on hold to accommodate Elle's big day out and Elle's plans for my birthday that I failed to see what I didn't compromise on. I canceled plans for my first Valentine's Day as an engaged couple and a holiday abroad for my 30th birthday. So this bee didn't feel like I was trying to outshine her while she's grieving her dad's passing. Wow. Yeah, that's like another level that you just brought into it too.
Yeah.
They wore my patience down until I finally snapped, gave them a piece of my mind, and blocked them both. It kind of bothers me how out of the blue this was, though. So am I the a-hole, or are my friends just toxic?
Really freaking toxic, man.
Insanely
Really
toxic.
freaking toxic.
Dude.
Like, sure, she's going through, a very hard thing with her dad's passing, but also you just had a baby.
Yeah.
You just had a baby.
Yes.
Like,
And
you're not
going
going to
through
be
your own stuff.
Yeah, and also she just fully miscommunicated what she wanted.
100%.
One, and also you're not going to be able to give the same amount of focus and stuff into friendships when you just had a baby.
Yeah, but there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, you need to ditch the toxicness of these two. She told you it was going to be a joint thing, and then suddenly, no, it's not. Then you canceled your own birthday plans so as to not outshine her. WTF. Go have a massive party with all of your friends and family, minus those two, and live your best life. Leave their petty, insecure jealousy behind you and find your friends who aren't awful people. You didn't overshadow anything. Comment says, it sounds like either sister-in-law is a worm in her ear, lying her butt off, or they are both toxically jealous. Either way, not good friends to keep. OP responded, I very much got that vibe during the argument. A lot of what Elle said didn't line up with the convo I was having with sister-in-law. Even her first message was claiming I'd said something to sister-in-law that was offensive and aimed at Elle.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
The only time I spoke even slightly negatively was well into the argument when I pointed out to sister-in-law that twice now they'd let slip that they wanted to throw me a surprise party and then planned nothing. Something that hadn't bothered me at all until I was told that I wasn't doing enough for her. I just wanted to point out that what doing nothing actually was. Boom. Update. Woo! Honestly, didn't think I'd be updating this. I haven't unblocked Elle or her sister-in-law and have had such a peaceful week, keeping my head down and looking up mom and toddler groups to take my son to so we can both meet some new friends. Amazing. It's worth noting that I didn't take the time to block Elle across all media. It really is less effort to ignore her than it is to go through everything I had her added on and block her. I also figured I wouldn't need to know how fast she removed me from every group chat and shared gaming world. Now, earlier today, I shared a post on Facebook that I felt resonated with my current circumstances. It's the only thing I've posted that relates to what happened with me and Elle. Lo and behold, a few hours later, I got 3 WhatsApp messages from Elle. Out of pride and principle, no matter how curious I got, I haven't opened them.
Nice.
However, in the drop-down notification, I got the first few words of her message. So you're calling me a snake? ... Referencing my post.
Ooh, that would be hard to not read.
That would absolutely be hard. I'd just be like, oh my God, what's this crazy girl
What's
saying
this
now?
girl saying?
I missed the notification for the second message, and the third said an image had been sent. I told my fiance about it. We had a laugh, and out of curiosity, he checked his Facebook to see if he was still friends with Elle or if she'd blocked him. Sure enough, same as me, he had been unfriended but not blocked. Sister-in-law still has us both added as friends. We took this as confirmation that they were keeping it open to creep in the shadows, and we laughed some more. Then he noticed several posts Elle had made, clearly with me in mind. Cut to about an hour ago, I was talking to my son's godmother on Discord and sending her a video of my son when I noticed WhatsApp did my curiosity a solid. There, in my gallery, were 2 images I didn't recognize. I knew right away that they must have been downloaded from Elle's message. They look like screenshots from TikTok, and they speak along the same lines as the posts she'd made on Facebook. By the way, we're always posting full episodes of stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime. I kind of feel like an a-hole for saying this, but all I could think of when I read them was how ironic it was that she was sending them to me. During what I'm calling the blowout, I asked so many times what the problem was and where it was all coming from, tried calling and tried again the next day when things had calmed down. Even said I wanted to apologize for some of my heat of the moment nastiness. But every call was rejected, and I was told that they didn't want to speak to such a horrible, disgusting person. That Elle had done nothing wrong, and it was all my fault for trying to overshadow her. So why are you trying to text me then, girl? What's going on? What's going on? Dude, that's crazy. There's still more to this, but like, oh my gosh. Why is it such a big deal
I don't
that
know.
she's trying to overshadow?
Yeah. It's her birthday too. It's
Exactly.
literally her birthday too.
Literally.
It's your 22nd birthday. That's like the least important birthday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize the age difference.
Yeah.
Too. This whiny
Well, actually,
little
it's
brat.
just your 23rd birthday.
Yeah.
Nothing important happens on 23rd.
Yes.
30th? That's a pretty big birthday.
It's a huge birthday.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I OP, I'm impressed by how much effort you're putting into this.
Yeah.
I'd be gone.
Gone.
I'd be like,
Bye.
okay, cool.
I'm out of here.
I said my apology. You have a great birthday.
You have a good day.
Honestly, I'm not looking to let this bother me or change my mind. And it's been a laugh knowing I've been living in her head rent-free all month while I'm over here moving on. I thought you guys would appreciate the tea. And that's the end of the story.
My boyfriend kept ruining my birthdays, so I left.
Goodbye, boyfriend.
My boyfriend has ruined my birthday 2 years in a row, and I honestly don't know if I'm overreacting for thinking about leaving, or if I'm acting selfish. By the way, this comes from OK Environment 9440, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, last year we got into a big fight on my birthday. It ended with him telling me I was selfish for wanting the day to be about me. Your birthday?
Your birthday?
That I couldn't stand when attention wasn't on me and that it was my fault my birthday was ruined. I had only told him he was starting to act a little too wasted and was embarrassing himself, but the situation escalated quickly. We were both drinking, so I apologized, tried to move past it, and chalked the whole thing up to booze. This year, I planned something I thought we'd both enjoy. I booked a 3-story arcade with go-karts, axe throwing, an indoor adventure park, and mini golf. I stayed away from bars or clubs because he often says he's not a fun guy or party person when I suggest he goes to those places with me, and I didn't want him to feel out of place. I wanted it to be something lighthearted and enjoyable for both of us. He had been in a great mood all day, even bought himself something earlier that day for an early Black Friday deal. But the second I finished getting ready, everything changed. He barely said anything, mumbled up, "You look nice," and his mood just shifted. At the arcade, he barely talked or participated, and I kept trying to keep things fun, but he just wasn't into it. While we were waiting for the go-karts, he told me he didn't want to ruin my day, but he wasn't having fun, wasn't enjoying himself, and was hungry. Why are you a little baby?
Why don't you eat my dust on the go-kart track, buddy?
Literally, why are you being such a little baby? He also said that other places we went to were better than this. I started feeling anxious and told him I didn't know what to do, which he pointed out wasn't his fault if I felt like that. We ended up leaving early. I offered to go to another place that had food and looked like it could be a mix of what we both liked, but he said if we went there, he wouldn't talk because it wasn't somewhere he would enjoy. What does he even like? Literally, what does this guy like? So we just went home. He didn't even end up getting the food he said he wanted so badly. When we got home, things just escalated in the worst way. I asked again why he hadn't enjoyed himself. He said, "I'm not a fun person. I'm not a party person like you." As if I had taken him to a club instead of an arcade. That really hurt because I had planned this night specifically so he wouldn't say that. I wanted something low-key that we could both enjoy. I told him it didn't make sense. And that's when he said the real reason was that he wasn't happy with his life. He was sad and couldn't fake it at the arcade. I know it might sound selfish, but it felt like I was being punished for trying. No matter what I did to make things enjoyable for both of us, he just wouldn't be happy. He couldn't even try to act happy for one night for my sake. And what makes it more confusing is that he's been in such a good mood all day before this happened. I do understand depression. I've dealt with it myself for a long time, and I know how overwhelming it can feel. But in that moment, it felt like he was using it to shift the focus away from how the night actually went. Every explanation he gave somehow turned the situation back onto me. He told him that I understood what he was going through and that his feelings were valid, but I was still hurt by how he acted throughout the night because he didn't show up when I needed him to. I said I needed to go downstairs for some space and that we could talk about his feelings the next day when things had calmed down. Instead of just letting me go downstairs, he followed me downstairs and started yelling. He said that I was acting spoiled. I was acting like a 15-year-old child, that I was making everything about me, that most people don't even get to celebrate birthdays. And then he stormed out of the house and drove off. The next day, when I brought it up again and gave him a chance to apologize for storming out of the house and not telling me where he was going, it turned into a conversation about how I don't understand his feelings and how I don't validate them. Before I could speak, he even said that if I tell him I understood his feelings, he might leave me.
Then go. Be gone from me.
Wait, what?
He's like, don't even say you understand. Because you don't. And if you try to say that, I'm just going to leave. Bye.
You can't win with this guy. Mr. No Fun. He did apologize, but then turned it back on me in the same breath, saying I make him feel like he can't talk to me. It left me feeling confused and guilty, like maybe I really don't understand him, even though I've tried so hard to get him to open up to me. I've begged him before to talk to me about what's going on in his life, especially when I could tell something was happening at work. But every time I asked, he'd shut me down immediately. The conversation then turned into him again calling me selfish and spoiled because 1 out of 3 times I was celebrating with family and friends the next weekend turned out bad, even though it turned out bad because of him. So it just felt like I couldn't win either way, like I wasn't doing anything right, and I just left the whole conversation feeling awful. I want to emphasize he isn't an awful guy. He did try to make it up to me a couple days later with dinner and gifts, but I can't shake how everything played out. I know that his feelings are important and valid too, but I just wanted one day to feel special without being made to feel selfish. I work 2 jobs while I'm in college, and my birthday is one of the only days all year when I can dress up, feel pretty, and actually enjoy myself. Now, I don't even want to celebrate my birthday anymore with family or friends. And I feel bad that I don't really care about the gifts he got me. I honestly don't think I've ever been this confused about a relationship before, and I really need help understanding what's going on. Am I overreacting or an a-hole for thinking about leaving him? Was I acting selfish? I'm open to honest criticism.
Yeah, that's big. He did it 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, and it seems like he does this like for every sort of event.
Yeah.
He's just Mr. No Fun, and you can't win with a guy like that.
If this was just like a once in a blue, like literally like one, like just a birthday thing, it'd be like, okay, maybe we can figure out what's actually, maybe there's something else around birthdays
Yeah.
or something that really, I don't know. But if it's just a constant, every single thing is always, well, I'm just not fun. Why would you want to be with someone who's not fun?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be with someone who's not fun.
Like expressly not
yeah,
fun.
like even says that he's not fun. What do you bring
Yeah.
to the table? Comment 1. I had a partner who found a way to ruin every special occasion. He wasn't battling depression, and the next partner, who was battling depression, did not ruin my special days. It's not the depression. This guy doesn't really like you. I hate to say it. It's him that can't stand not being the center of attention on other people's special days.
Comment 2 says, hey, I don't know if this is helpful, but one of the most common traits of
NPD.
self-absorbed people is ruining days on holidays that are important to the self-absorbed person's partner. Someone who can shout at you on your own birthday that you can't stand not being the center of attention, can't stand not being the center of attention themselves. He made your next birthday about him too. It will never change. Edit. Wow, I wasn't expecting this much engagement on my post, and I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment. Reading all of your perspectives has been overwhelming, but also very eye-opening. I genuinely hoped I was just being selfish or misreading the situation, but hearing so many consistent experiences and warnings has given me a lot to think about. We do live together, so it makes everything more complicated. But leaving is something I know I need to do, and I'm going to take the steps I need to in order to protect my peace. Thank you to everyone who shared advice, experiences, and support. It truly means more than you know. By the way, it would mean a lot if you listened to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left to this story.
Yeah.
And final thoughts.
Don't be with somebody who ruins it.
Yeah. Don't be with someone who's
Always
just not
ruining it.
fun.
You're ruining it.
I think that you should have at least 75 to 80% fun with your partner. Like in the entirety of it. Like 75 to 80%.
Yeah, you gotta let them ruin it sometimes.
of your yeah.
Sometimes it
It's
doesn't matter who it is.
Sometimes they're gonna ruin it.
No matter
But
who they are.
75 to 80% of your time, like your time with your partner, I think you should be enjoying yourself. But there is an update. I haven't told him I'm leaving yet because I need to make arrangements, get my things out, and find a new place to stay. I also don't want him to react badly or try to pressure me into staying. I want to make sure I'm in a stable and safe position to leave before saying anything. Everything is still really new, and I'm taking things one step at a time. I am celebrating my birthday with my friends this weekend. We're going out for karaoke, and he is not invited. He does not get another opportunity to ruin this for me. I'll also be looking into the books and websites you guys have sent me. Comment 1 says he's gonna throw a fit at the not being invited part. Does he have your location? Can he just show up and ruin it that way? OP says he wouldn't want to come even if he was invited. Unfortunately, as it's not something he'd be interested in. He's also not the type to show up, but he is the type to start a fight. So I'm getting ready at a friend's place and staying the night there to prevent that from happening and to make sure he doesn't get the chance. Comment 2 says this, I also married a man like this, and it only got worse year after year. He made the holidays brutal. He was unhappy, so we all had to be unhappy. I got so tired of spending every Christmas trying to make magic for our kids, while he sat like a sullen gray cloud, just raining on us for daring to try to have fun. Out last year, I had nothing. Couldn't even find it in me to put the Christmas tree up or wrap presents. I just lay in bed, sad. 4 days later, I told him I wanted a divorce and haven't looked back since. Congrats.
There you go.
Yeah. That guy was a 60, probably a 40% fun. Maybe
Even less.
lower. Maybe 20.
Everything went wrong at me and my wife's wedding, from her family to the photographer.
Not the photographer.
And everything in between. There ain't no flair to recap what went down this weekend, y'all. Weddings bring out a different breed of crazy in people. And by the way, this comes from user Orange Julius. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We just know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. And OP says, I'd like to start by saying I absolutely adore my wife. I adore my chosen family, and I will forever cherish our wedding as the day our family tree was planted. Necessary context, we had a non-religious, family-only, about 10 people, ceremony at noon in a state park, immediately followed by a reception at a nearby location with the rest of our guests, about 60 people. It was a 15-minute drive between locations. We'd been engaged for about 14 months and sent out save the dates exactly 1 year in advance. My wife had a major medical emergency that kept her in the hospital all summer. There was absolutely a time we thought we'd have to postpone. All of her doctors were extremely surprised she would be able to walk long enough to go down the aisle and stand long enough to have her first dance. Interjection, this determination and grit is why I married her. Now on to the wedding day. One family member in her 40s showed up in a white t-shirt and black leggings. Somehow, this is the least offensive thing that happened and makes both of us laugh when we talk about it. Wife's mom, grandma, grandpa, and her only sibling did not attend the ceremony nor reception. Still not sure why. The photographer's camera crapped out immediately after we walked down the aisle, so everything else was taken on a phone. Family photos, rings, first kiss, everything. I had assumed she would want to run home and figure that out before dinner and the first dance, so we let her leave a little early. When we showed up to dinner, I immediately noticed the family table was only half full. My in-laws were nowhere to be found. They, along with the photographer, missed our first dance and speeches. Dinner and cake were completely gone, and dishes were on the drying rack by the time they got there. Aunt and uncle strolled in almost 4 hours late, stayed for 45 minutes, and then left. Turns out cousins and uncles were at another party. When we did the math, aunt and uncle decided to show up when the Dodgers had sealed the game. F the Dodgers, but that's irrelevant. All night, our VIP friends and I texted and called the photographer like our lives depended on it. We took shifts all night long. The response after we got into bed, verbatim, was fell asleep. Thankfully, we had a few folks go nuts on their phones, so it's not like we don't have any pictures. But that meant all night I was worrying about asking people to take and text me pictures of my wife. Thankfully, the agreement was cash in exchange for a disc of unedited photos. Yeah, I know that's non-traditional, but that's how people do things here. When the disc is physically in my hands, I will inform her that she will not receive any payment as she failed to meet her obligations as a hired photographer.
Boom.
Thankfully, she has already sent the pictures on her phone, which were the most important parts anyway. Oh, and did I mention our officiant showed up to the ceremony with a completely blank journal? Not a drop of ink on her supposed script. She did not use the proclamation or declaration my wife and I wrote together. None of the readings were provided. She had no idea what was going on and repeatedly asked me what to do and what was supposed to happen next. She delayed and canceled every opportunity we had to rehearse and showed up 10 minutes before we walked down the aisle.
Bro, that's crazy.
Who are you guys hiring for this stuff?
Like,
Who'd you guys grab for this?
at that point, I feel like it's like, well, if you can't make any of the rehearsals, like, you decline once, whatever, scheduling issue, we make it up. Okay, you decline twice, I'm getting someone else.
You're the officiant.
Yeah, I'm getting someone ordained online in like 24 hours or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're booted.
I'm
Sorry.
just going to get someone who knows how to read. The ceremony missed the most important ceremonial parts. The photographer missed 10 hours of her commitment. Family? Well, that's a great question. Yeah, I love my wife. I'm so hyped I got to marry my best friend. I'm so extremely happy she's been healthy enough to have a wedding. I just hate that so many different people let her down. And there's an edit. I swear the lack of detail in this is from writing it at 4 a.m. in my kitchen after everyone left. When I said how we do things here, I live in a very rural, small town on the U.S.-Mexico border. Naming the community would 100% identify me, as if this whole post doesn't anyways, lol. It would have been way too expensive to pay someone to travel several hours to us, so we asked who we thought was a reliable family member. She's done a lot of similar work for people in the community in the same boat as us. And there are some comments here. Boy, oh boy, what a mess. But at least y'all are married.
At least you got married. At the end of the day, I mean, you can hopefully just like turn it into a funny story and laugh it off.
It's a funny story now.
Yeah. Because I mean, would you rather have a funny story or would you rather have like super cookie cutter wedding, boring,
Yeah.
just like all the others?
Now the ridiculousness of it all will bind you together. Relevant comments. Number 1, I am so sorry this all happened. I know you're trying to be positive and are still so grateful you got to marry your wife who got to make it to her own wedding. But you have every right to be pissed. Truly, I would trash that photographer on every single review board possible, including local wedding Facebook pages. I'd reach out to every day of coordinator or wedding planner in the area and advise them to not hire this person. Next, and this is obviously up to your wife, but I'd really consider going no contact with her whole immediate family. It doesn't sound like you guys have major beef with them if you have no idea why they didn't show. You'd think a set of parents, siblings, and grandparents would be so happy their child or family member was alive and well and getting married to the love of their life, and that they would be at their wedding crying. But no, they don't care about her, and I think going no contact is the best way to protect her going forward. For when you guys have children and other major life events that they ignore, don't give them the opportunity to even pretend to care because they don't. OP says, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. I texted her mom to say, we missed you yesterday. My wife would like at least a text from her mother on her wedding day. The response was, noted. Reading between the lines here and totally not blaming OP for this crazy stuff happening, it seems that maybe OP had more of an informal type gathering that did not involve professional wedding vendors. I can't imagine any well-reviewed photographer would fall asleep or a well-reviewed officiant would come empty-handed and wing it. There is something more to this story. People's own parents do not miss their weddings without there being more to the story, even if the more is just that they're horrible parents or that it was OP's wife's 5th wedding or something. OP, we need more details here. OP says, correct. You'll see in my edit, but our family and local community is just way too small to justify vendors of any kind. There legitimately are not wedding vendors here, so our only option for chairs and tables were a business an hour away that specializes in bouncy houses. Much more of a DIY wedding, but it still deserves the same respect from the people in our lives. Comment 3 says, I think you and your wife deserve beautiful wedding photos. I would pick a location you love and an actual professional photographer, so some staged photos of you both in your wedding gear can be taken. If you're not up to it now, it would make a wonderful first anniversary gift. If I hadn't quite literally just returned my rental tux, I'd say we'd go for it this week. She loves the idea of retrying the vow ceremony, just the two of us, with a very, very close friend who expressed her disgust at both the photographer and officiant situations. A 4th comment says, I hope you torched that photographer in her reviews. OP says, I did torch her in her dang text messages. Selfish and lazy, honestly. And there is another little update right here.
Ooh, I want to know what it says.
Normalize trashing people who let you down as a business. It's okay.
It's okay to be a Karen if you're justified.
If your wedding photographer falls asleep
Dude.
when she's supposed to be taking your wedding photos,
Yeah.
let them all know.
Yeah, like I feel like getting a full refund isn't even enough. Like I feel like you need to pay me because
Yeah.
I could have gotten someone else who would have done the job, but I
Truly.
didn't, and you took up that space for me to not get wedding pictures.
100%. Just maybe let people know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hire her, make sure you have a mattress in the corner because it's gonna be nap
Yeah.
time.
Make sure you buy all of the camera equipment because she won't bring it.
In case you missed it, we had a non-traditional ceremony and reception in our rural community over the weekend. Our photographer slept through the reception, family ditched to watch the World Series, and officiant showed up to the ceremony completely empty-handed. Number 1, no update on the family or why they left. No update from wife's mom, grandparents for not showing, and they are still refusing to reach out to her. She's doing better today, but we probably aren't getting an answer on this for a good while. Honestly, that is really only her family's loss and not ours. Got the disc of photos. Didn't say a word or exchange a penny when I picked them up. I just turned around and got right back in the car. Looking at them reminded me why we chose this state park as our venue. It is impossible to even notice camera quality when the location is so stunning. I do a lot of graphic design and photo editing for work, so I'm excited to take a crack at editing them myself today. Number 3, I don't think we need an apology from the officiant because the photos of her looking like she got caught in the cookie jar are more than enough. God, I wish I could post them here. And by the way, we are constantly posting full episodes with stories like this on all your favorite podcast platforms. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. Her face in every single photo, rings, readings, vows, looks exactly like the awkward monkey puppet meme. In the family photos, she is fully upstaging my wife. My wife is quite literally in her shadow, LOL. In her words, that's a big booty smile for half a booty of work. Every time I get irritated or bummed about logistical failings, I look at the ceremony pics and immediately start crying laughing. I'm genuinely shocked that this community has been so supportive. It'll be a long time before either of us want to spend any amount of time with this side of the family, but we had such a special weekend with childhood friends from 9 different states around the country. No matter what, that can never be taken from us. And that is the end of that story.
How beautiful.
What a wonderful perspective to leave it with.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.